No, Mai, welcome to the first game of tonight. Just checking the mic volume. Thank you. How's that? We're good? Absolutely. Okay, hey, welcome along to the first game for tonight. We're going to see two games. First up is Rector City B versus the Kapiti Coast Derby crew, and that will be followed by Rector City A team playing the Dunedin Derby Gallo Lasses. I'm Rusty Stiletto. I'm here with Bubble O'Kill. We'll be your MCs for the first game tonight. Anyone here, first game of roller derby? Great. Okay, so all the people around you will be able to explain the rules. There are about 30 pages of them, so we're not going to go into them all here. But the main point of this game is to score the most points, and then you win. And the way you win those points is by your jammer, the person with a star on their helmet. They need to get past the people on the other team. So they get a point for every person on the other team that they get past. And that means that the other players on the track, who are known as blockers, have to play both defence and offence at the same time. So we'll explain a little bit as we go, but find someone around you who knows the rules. They'll be the ones shouting about what should be happening on the track right now. So Rector City Roller Derby is proud to roll at the lands of Te Whanganui Atara. We acknowledge Māori as tangata whenua and the land of Aotearoa, and we show our respect to the mana whenua who've cared for this whenua long before we laced up our skates. So in terms of the game structure for tonight, Bubble's going to take us through that.
Kia ora koutou. We've got a jam-packed night ahead with something for everyone, we hope. So our first game tonight is our B team kicking things off against the KCDC Krakens from just up the coast. And at 7 p.m, our A team will be playing the Dunedin Derby Gallo Lasses. And between these games, very excited to announce, we will be having a sack race and a raffle draw. So stick around for that.
And if you fancy yourself as a bit of a sack racer, make yourself known. We'll be doing those at half-time at both games.
Yeah, good core, good hopping ability, I think.
Agility.
Yeah.
Line awareness. Just looking to the benches to see if we're ready for the teams to skate out. So we're just waiting, we're in the hands of the refs now to get started for the game. So just waiting for that. We're good to go. We just got the thumbs up from Pseudo Stripes. So let's meet the teams who are skating in this first game tonight. I'm just trying to see from the teams if they've decided who's going first for the skate out. Can you give me a wave? Rector City B is skating out first. So to take you through the roster, first we'll give you a bit of an intro actually, good point. So the Rector City B team is excited to be back on the track in Pōneke this year. This squad has been training together for the last 18 months with the hope to become a friendly but tough team to play in Aotearoa. So watch out for airborne jammers, brick wall blocking, smiles and laughs. And also a big shout out to Venomous, who is playing her first game for Rector City Bs today. So skating in white today for the Rector City Roller Derby B team, we have 121 Ray Gun, 1-4 Red Peril, 145 Ruby Dread, 1-5 Medical Emergency. Number 17 is Smack and your captain for today. Number 26 Metal Fatigue, Serrated Edge 27, 8 is Shove Race 337, 789 is Killer KO. 86 Latin Bolt, 865 Dizzy Gillespie, 8008 Venomous, and on the bench Scrappy, Megahertz and Ness.
So let's welcome to the track Kapiti Coast Krakens. We have 007 Firefighter, 105 Perky Nana, 141 Rink Panther, 179 Precious Pitbull, 202 Swiper, 23 Celtic Chaos, 247 Still on Call or Stop, 303 Bones, number 31 End of Daisy, who's captaining tonight, 369 Tom Swifty, Yeah, Nali. Okay. 78, Scandalous. Number 99, Whiplash. And on the bench tonight, we have got Venom de Plume and Fee Rocious. On the track, we've got Venom de Plume.
Quick change.
Even better.
And this will be end of Daisy's first team game as a captain. So KCGC is one of the 3 leagues in the Greater Wellington region, and they've got to focus on growing players' skills with a positive mindset and upskilling their officiating skills too. So we are now in the hands of your officials crew for tonight. So the head ref is Mr. Fox. We also join with Soul, Pseudo Stripes, Fouled Out, Crash, Greta Growler, and I'm Appalled.
And our non-skating officials tonight are Dr. Reva Song, Invader Sin, Scrace, V, Rose, Jersey Girl, Wizzy Crizzy, Cracker, and our head NSO tonight, Needles.
Huge shout out to the skating officials and non-skating officials. We actually couldn't play this game without them. So throughout the game, you'll see them in different positions on the track, and they'll be keeping an eye on things, making sure that the teams are both safe and playing according to the rules. So teams are now coming out onto the track for the first jam of the evening. So Richter City in white, Kapiti Coast District. Keeps the kids district answered. Clearly I've been working this week. Kapiti in aqua. So number 15, Medical Emergency lining up to jam, and 247 Stock jamming for Kapiti.
So we've got everybody up by the jam line, I think.
So both teams opting to take that jam line, giving their jammers a bit of a run-up before they hit the wall in the pack.
Scandalous heading to the penalty box.
And Medical Emergency called lead jammer for Richter City B. Now that means that they're able to call the jam off when they would like to, rather than they are in control of how many points they score before they decide to do that.
Stock pushing away at the top of the pack, but they're doing a great job of recycling in front of them.
Meanwhile, Medical Emergency trying to make their way through for a scoring pass and manages to sneak up the inside line and is out and scoring points.
And Stock is out as well.
So this also means that Richter City will try to make some more points before they call off the jam and stop Stock from getting points.
Maddie's still going, out for another 5.
Venom is doing a great job here, hitting Stock off the track and then bringing them right back. Now the rules with roller derby are, if you get hit off the track, you have to re-enter behind the person who hit you off. So you'll see skaters do this a lot tonight, where they take a moment to work out exactly who they need to get back on behind. Ada Shudra is being sent to the penalty box for what they call a direction of gameplay penalty, which means she was making contact with someone while not going in the correct direction. So that's a safety rule that we have here.
About 20 seconds left in the jam now. Maddie out for another scoring pass. And Stock is out.
Put points up on the board for Kapiti Coast as well. Looks like the jam is going to reach its natural conclusion, so the maximum length of a jam is 2 minutes, and that marks 2 minutes. So great first jam for Rector City, putting up, I think there are 3 more points to go on the board, at least 15 points in that first jam.
Richter starting with 2 blockers in the penalty box.
So this presents quite an opportunity for Kapiti Coast. It means they've got 4 blockers out on the track, while Rector City only has 2, and that makes the job for their jammer, number 31, a whole lot easier. So that's End of Daisy, the captain tonight, Perky Nana, laying out a classic Perky Nana hit on Rector City.
And that's End of Daisy, lead jammer. Ruby still fighting in the pack, being hit out and recycled by Perky Nana and Celtic Chaos.
Looks like another blocker from Rector City being sent to the penalty box, so they've got a full...
And Daisy out for another scoring pass. Oh, and Ruby out of the pack.
Not the lead jammer, but is able to score points. So now it'll be a matter of when Daisy decides that they've had enough, and it is at that moment that they call off the jam.
So that was Daisy calling the jam right before the other jammer could score points.
Good strategic move,
So
and putting
good
12
move.
points on the board. So now the game is 12 points to Kapiti Coast, 15 points to Rector City.
So this is a really exciting start to the game, Rusty.
Sure is. I love a tight game.
Yeah.
Medical emergency jamming for Rector City, and that will be firefighter jamming for the Kapiti Coast Derby crew. Both teams starting with 1 blocker in the penalty box, so 3 blockers out on the track for each of the packs. At the front, Kapiti Coast really trying to hold Medical Emergency, who was pushing their way through, is out and is called lead jammer. Firefighter still at the back there, trying to fight their way through, but getting some really great offense there from Scandalas, who's wearing the pivot stripe.
And that's Firefighter out, ready to score points.
Medical Emergency off 1 foot on the outside line. Great control there. And Kelly doing a great job of clearing that inside line for Firefighter to get through and score points. She only just needed a few centimetres there to get through.
Did. So
Perky Nana taking that opportunity to hit Medical Emergency out and wind them right back to re-enter the pack. Sounded like the Rector City bench was trying to get their jammer to call off the jam, but that moment has passed. Tom Swifty now being sent to the penalty box for Kapiti Coast.
3 blockers.
3 blockers in the penalty box.
Yeah.
But the 1 blocker remaining on the track is Perky Nana, so not to be underestimated. Rector City now also having a blocker go to the penalty box. Because there are 2 blockers already sitting there for Kapiti Coast, Tom Swifty was sent back to the track. That means that they will then need to go back to the penalty box as soon as a space becomes available for them to enter that.
And that was another scoring pass for Firefighter, and Maddie easily making it through as well. Oh, and that is Firefighter being sent to the penalty box. So this is what we call a power jam, and we've got 1 jammer on the track scoring.
So what that means for Rector City is that they have 1 job to do, which is to get their jammer through. They don't have to worry about the other jammer for 30 seconds. Looks like Rector City then decided to call the jam off, which then means that they get to start the next jam with the opposition jammer in the penalty box, and Kapiti Coast also has 2 blockers in the penalty box. So this creates quite an advantage for you if you're able to go out on the track with only 2 blockers for your jammer to go up against.
And we've got Ruby out on the track for Rector City. And the blockers are up there doing some offense. Oh, Ruby hit out.
Re-enters the track legally by going back in behind the person who hit her out, and is now established as lead jammer.
That was a wee hop on the apex. Love to see it.
Rector City Pack did a really great job of breaking up those Kapiti blockers and stopping them from being able to get together to play together, which is a really smart move in a power jam situation. And then also dropping back to catch that jammer as soon as they get back on the track.
And Firefighter is out of the penalty box, back on the track. and now ready for a scoring pass as well. So let's see what Richter City do with this one.
So Richter City choosing to send one person up to play offence and leave 3 blockers at the back to contain the other jammer. You'll often see that happen in this game where they'll have one person who's nominated to go and play offence and help the jammer out, and the other 3 will stay back and play in a defensive position. So score now sits at 38 points for Richter City and 20 points for Kapiti Coast. So that was a really great jam for Richter City, just kind of stretch that lead out a little.
We've got a new jammer up for Richter City. That is Killer KO and 31 Daisy for Kapiti Coast.
So Killer KO pushing up against a wall of Kapiti Coast. Nearly able to sneak up the inside line, but just got edged out at the very last. But safely re-enters the track, back in behind the blockers who pushed her out. Meanwhile, Amy Daisy is able to get out and is established as lead jammer.
I think that was thanks to some lovely offence by Perky Nana. And Daisy's up and scoring now. KO still pushing through the pack. Got all 4 of Kapiti's blockers.
Lovely hit by Tom Swifty, 369, just kind of makes Killer KO go right to the back.
Oh, that was some tight footwork on the inside by Daisy, but it was just one skate out of bounds, and now she's being sent to the penalty bin.
So Richter City now has the opportunity of another power jam where they've got 30 seconds to try and make points before the other jammer gets back onto the track. And they're opting here to go one-on-one.
But KO is not lead, so Daisy will be back on the track before the jam
ends. There'll be no lead in this
Yeah.
jam. So once you've gone to the penalty box as the lead jammer, you lose that status, and that means that the jam will go for the full 2 minutes. KO having a bit of slippery feet, looks like. Looks like the track might be a bit slow. This track can do weird things. Sometimes it feels like it's really slippery, sometimes it feels very sticky.
It's really got a mind of its own.
And it often takes sort of 10 minutes or so to actually kind of adjust to what the floor is doing in this game.
Oh, and Daisy quickly through the pack. So that will be completing the previous scoring pass when she was sent to the bin.
So now putting 4 points on the board, and Killer KO really pushing up against that wall at the front of the pack, looking for some assistance from Dizzy. And the jam comes to an end. Now you'll notice there are some skaters who've got a helmet cover, so there's some with a star who are the point scorer, the jammer. There is also someone wearing a stripe on their head. They're known as the pivot, and they can take on jamming duties. So you may see this during a game where the jammer will take the cover off their own head and pass it to the person with the stripe, and they'll then become the jammer. It's quite a strategic move. They're the only person who could do it, and there are a lot of kind of details around how you do it, but we'll show you when it comes to that point. Ruby Dread 145 now jamming for Richter City, and set stock 247 for Kapiti Coast. Ruby Dread out and leads, and coming round now to score some points.
Oh, and nicely through on the inside.
Ruby Dread, a relatively new skater, has been with Richter City for about a year or so, but previously trained in Auckland and has made a real kind of impact in our league in terms of sort of the pretty footwork they bring to the training. Meanwhile, Stock taking a big hit from Latin Bolt, number 86, and being brought right to the back of the pack again. Richter City regrouping and aiming to catch Stock to stop them being able to score points.
Oh, and that was a big hit from number 14, Red, on Tom Swifty, but Tom Swifty is out. So that is the initial pass complete. And Ruby is still fighting on a scoring pass. Ooh.
Big collision there just on the turn, but everyone looks okay, which is what we're mostly concerned.
Yeah.
So that was a star pass that you just saw happen in that last jam. So 247 Stock took the helmet cover off, passed it to Tom Swifty, who then became the jammer for the rest of the jam.
That was a pretty big jam for Richter City. That's a 12-6 jam. So this is a pretty high scoring game so far. And we've got number 15, Medical Emergency, on the line for Richter City, and 007 Firefighter. And they're both fighting up the inside.
It does look kind of chaotic on that first turn.
Oh.
And it feels like that when you're in it as well.
Yes, it does. And that was Firefighter nicely taking the outside to get lead jammer for Kapiti Coast.
Great offense there from Dizzy Gillespie, just trying to open up some space, medical emergency. Scandalous and Venom both going for some last hits. Medical emergency decides she's not going back, and she didn't have to because both of those blockers fell over as they went to hit her, which means that they were no longer in play.
And that was just a cut track for Firefighter, so this is now a power jam for Richter City. So Maddie is through on a scoring pass.
There will be no lead jammer in this jam, so it will go for the full 2 minutes.
And that's Perky Nana going to the penalty box as well. So Kapiti has got 3 blockers on the track.
Richter City aiming to stay relatively still, but then go and play some offense for their jammer as needed. Medical emergency just able to noodle their way around Scandalous somehow magically and is through for points.
So the reason Richter City is standing back at the moment is to try and get Kapiti Coast up and out of bounds. Will be the reason that people stay still during a power jam. Because all the blockers have to be within 10 feet of each other to form a pack and be able to hit the jammer.
So if you're not in the pack and you're not in the engagement zone, it means you can't hit someone. So they're deciding that they're going to stop moving to force the other team to also stop moving.
Yeah. Which is a particular strategy, and that was Perky Nana back on the track and immediately landing big hit on Maddie, force her to the back of the pack, and Firefighter is through for 4 points.
Just a few seconds remaining on this jam, so it'll be whether Maddie can make points before the whistle blows. One of the other reasons a team might decide to stand still is that you don't want to necessarily speed the pack up and make it harder for your jammer to get round and get points. So someone once said to me, this team that can go backwards most in roller derby normally wins. Kind of makes sense.
Yeah, it does. As much as you can shorten that track for your jammer, the quicker they get round and rack up points, which they did.
So we've now got a team timeout. Score sits at 36 points for Kapiti Coast Derby crew and 72 points for Richter City Roller Derby. I don't know about you, but it doesn't look like that on the track.
No, it looks pretty close.
So this is a great time to tell you about some of our amazing sponsors that help make these games happen. You'll be able to see some of their wares in the raffle that is going around tonight as well. But Thunder Pants, great underwear, just give them a personal shout out. They made ethically in Aotearoa, so thanks to them for being part of our league. Garage Project, the brewers who keep the good times flowing. They're absolute legends. We have been working with Garage Project for over 10 years and they've just been a great supporter of Richter City. Kapanua is a new sponsor for us for 2025. They make our uniforms and they're great uniforms as well. And a brand new sponsor in Kaupapa that we're really proud to get behind is Open Skate. We're going to talk to you a lot more about them. I think we're back in the hands of the refs now. We've got 10 seconds, so we'll come back to talk to you about Open Skate and the work they're doing. No, it looks like we have got time actually, tell you now. So created by one of our own skaters, Dex, Open Skate is a photography project following Team New Zealand's road to the 2025 Roller Derby World Cup. So Dex is going to be going to Austria, taking photos of the team over there and also is documenting their process all the way through their trainings from now until June when they head off.
And it's more than just that, it's also capturing a slice of queer sporting history in Aotearoa, which is so important.
Absolutely. Okay, Ruby Dread 145 is lining up to jam for Richter City, and I believe that is Daisy at 31 for Kapiti Coast. Kapiti Coast starting with one blocker in the penalty box, and Richter City with a full pack on the track. Teams now kind of looking like, so Richter City's opting to start at the very front by the jam line, and the Kapiti Coast blockers are starting near the back. So we'll see if they move closer together. It looks like they are. Ruby Dread just like on tiptoes round the outside of that 3 wall and through for lead, but Daisy not far behind. So it'll be interesting to see here whether Richter City chooses to go for points or call the jam off. So it looks like Kapiti Coast was able to sneak 2 points in on that scoring pass.
And the refs are just trying to figure out how many that was for Richter City, because it can be very hard with the angles. Oh, and we've got 4 points going up.
4 points for Richter City, so still a win.
Still a win. And some beautiful fast thinking and skating from Ruby.
Hard to do, right? While you're on tiptoes, spinning around, while people are trying to hit you, you try to remember where the other person is and when you need to stop the game. We've got Smack, the captain for Richter City, jamming.
Rusty's husband famously said that roller derby is like playing chess while someone throws bricks at you, and that has stuck with me for
a long time.
Yeah, a long time. All right, jam is underway.
So Smack pushing up the inside line, really trying to just kind of cause some chaos and get the Kapiti Coast blockers apart to be able to get through.
Yeah. Oh, and that's sneaking through on the inside again, firefighter.
The inside line's about 40% shorter than the outside line, so that's generally why you see people trying to use that as their path around the track. Smack out and giving chase.
Oh, there's some nice offense from Venom de Plume right there.
So we haven't seen Smack jam before in this game. I wonder if she is going to be on the regular jam rotation, or if this is a situation where Richter City is looking to play someone in a relief jam position to give their other jammers a chance to catch their breath.
And sometimes just throwing a different style in there can be really effective.
Seems to be working. Smack is doing a great job out here. So Firefighter decided to call off the jam before hitting the pack. So 4 points for each team in that pass. So 41 points for Kapiti Coast and 80 for Richter City.
So it's still very much in reach for Kapiti Coast.
Oh yeah. We've got 14 minutes left in this half. There's a whole other half to come.
Yep.
Let me remind you, halftime, sack race, get amongst it. There are prizes. There's an official timeout being called by fouled out. So it looks like it's apparently a huddle of zebras.
Oh, and I think that's the Macarena going on the jam line from stock.
Yep.
Classic.
So should we talk about open skate? So Dex is, travelling, taking photos, has a great website. It's openskate.nz. They have some incredible prints and merch for sale. And it's going to be an amazing project to see this kind of historical document of the team, and as you said, a slice of queer sporting history being made.
Really cool merch. Dex is,
pretty
pretty good designer, I've heard. Yep.
Kiwi there wearing the bucket hat.
Oh, and this is now a power jam, Firefighter in the penalty bin. So we've got a power start for Richter City and Ruby Dread on the line.
So what Kapiti Coast wants to do here is just make it as hard as possible for Ruby to get through. They've got one job, which is defence.
But again, that inside line.
Richter City has one blocker in the penalty box, but they're still managing to play some really good offence here for Ruby Dread. So just trying to break up the Kapiti skaters.
They're on the outside that time. Firefighter coming out of... Oh.
Richter City preparing for Firefighter to enter the track again. So managed to catch her at the back of the pack while Ruby Dread is playing at the front, and Killer KO playing some offense at the front there, really breaking up that pack so that Ruby can get through.
Latin Bolt going to the penalty box.
And a cut track penalty being called on Firefighter, which means that Ruby Dread has another power jam in their arsenal, so they can just focus on scoring points. Although Ruby Dread now being sent to the penalty box, we're going to do a little jammer switcheroo, because it'll be a pretty boring game if both of the jammers just sat in the penalty box for 30 seconds. So in this situation, what happens is Firefighter will be released from the penalty box, and Ruby Dread will serve the same length of penalty as what Firefighter did. So if, for example, Firefighter sat for 15 seconds, that's how long that Ruby Dread will serve as well. Otherwise, we'll just end up with a game with nothing happening on the track.
So Ruby is out again. So we've got both jammers in the pack and both jammers heading through on the inside line.
Ruby Dread able to pass Firefighter and just really try to play some defensive jamming here. So feeding Firefighter into her pack, which is very clever. So Ruby Drew came through on the inside and then left her pack to collect Firefighter on the way through. 1 point going up on the board for Kapiti Coast, 12 points for Rector City. Score now sits at 42 points for Kapiti Coast and 92 for Rector City.
And this is becoming a common, got another official timeout.
Should we talk about the raffle?
Yes.
So we have a raffle going around at the moment. There are 3 prizes. So one is an Aiko Aiko pack, some rich coffee roasters beans, and the Open Skate Photography zine and sticker. The second prize is the Thunderpants voucher, some rich coffee roasters beans, and a Open Skate Photography zine. And the third prize is 2 Rector City home game tickets, some rich coffee roasters beans, and an Open Skate Photography zine and sticker. Number 31, Daisy jamming.
And we're in a power start.
So Ruby Dread sitting in the penalty box for Rector City. Rhaegar doing a great job of hitting Daisy out there and making them re-side to the back of the pack. But
almost through on the inside, but not quite. And that was...
Can't quite see because it threw the huddle of refs at that point. Could have been Metal Fatigue.
Metal Fatigue going to the penalty box. And that is Daisy
Rhaegar doing a great
fighting
job
against
here.
Ray. Oh, wow.
Front of the pack. Eventually Ray had to let Daisy go. They got too far away from the rest of the blockers, and so they had to let go and let Daisy out.
And that was Ruby speeding through the pack.
Not wasting any time at all. And Daisy decided to call off that jab. So 2 points going on the board for Kapiti Coast.
So that was a smart call from Daisy, preventing Ruby from scoring any points. And we've got Stock versus Maddie on the jam line. Another common mashup. Yeah.
So both teams playing with a 3 main jammers here, so we're going to see that match up quite a bit.
And Stock out for lead jammer. Maddie's still fighting in the pack. Almost making it through on the inside line. We've got all Rector City blockers together at the back to try and prevent Stock from scoring points.
But Maddie standing up, skating through, popping out the front.
So Maddie is out and ready to score points, but not lead jammer, so Stock calls it right there.
Smart.
This is what we call a nickel and diming.
Nickel and diming.
Just getting a couple of points, calling it off.
And many a game have been won and lost with a nickel and dime.
They sure have, and they're fun to watch.
Hey, look, huge shout out to Roller Derby Streaming New Zealand sitting next to us over here. They bring the game action to fans far and wide. So to all of you joining on the stream, thank you. If you can, chuck them a couple of dollars your way as a bit of a koha. They've got a live stream and they travel all over Aotearoa covering roller derby so that fans can watch it. So we're hugely grateful for that.
Oh, and we have got Dizzy Gillespie jamming for Rector City. And we have got a jammer in the penalty bin for Kapiti. Who is that? Oh, it's Daisy.
Daisy.
And Dizzy is out and lead jammer.
So Rector City here trying not to move too much. Dizzy coming through, looking to score some points, looking for some offense from Metal. Pack moving relatively fast for a power jam. So that will be Kapiti Coast successfully speeding it up.
And Daisy is back out of the penalty box on the track, really getting up some speed, but the Rector City blockers slow them right down. You know that Dizzy is a jazz musician, so expect some jazzy moves.
Jazz hands,
yeah, I think, yeah. Could do like a jazz hands call off, Dizzy. I wasn't telling you.
supposed to
I'm
lead
not
play here,
influencing the game, I promise.
So 99 points for Richter City. Dizzy managed to put up 7 points in that jam, which is great. And Kapiti Coast sitting on 47. This is one of the things I love about roller derby. You learn how people's names come about once you learn a little bit more about them.
Yeah.
Now that makes more sense.
I know.
What do you think medical emergency and firefighter do? just taking a punt here.
Yeah.
Firefighter out and lead for Kapiti Coast, so this is their opportunity to claw back some of that point spread.
And we've only got 2 Richter City blockers on the track at the moment, got 2 sitting in the penalty bin.
So this is a great opportunity for Firefighter to make points.
Yep.
Because what happens is you get to get the points counted for the people who are in the penalty box as well. So if there are only 2 blockers on the track, the moment you pass one of them, you get the points for the people in the penalty box. What we call ghost points.
Yep.
Or
Oh, yeah.
not
Firefighter almost out there, but big hit from Ray. And Ray holding at the front.
And a 4-ounce penalty being called on Firefighter. So it looks like that is now a power jam again for Richter City. Who'll be aiming to make the most of that. Huge hit from Bloom pushes Maddie into the wall. But Maddie able to get out the front of the pack. Put
We've got
points
Whiplash
up.
rejoining the pack now from the penalty box.
But meanwhile, Ada Shavra is being sent to the penalty box for Richter City. So a little bit of a do-si-do happening there.
So the penalty box has been pretty busy this game, and you'll see that that becomes more and more of an issue as the game goes on, because skaters can only get 7 penalties.
So once you get to 7 penalties, you are expelled from the game, and you can no longer play. So that's when it becomes a little bit of an issue, and you get to sort of 3/4 of the way through the game, and all of a sudden, things are not looking quite so pretty on that front.
Yeah, and especially if it's a jammer that gets expelled from the game, they can't come back on that whole jam. And that is a real opportunity for the other team to score lots of points.
This Richter City wall here, Dizzy, Ray and Lattenberg did an amazing job of holding back the Kapiti jammer. They just kind of kept it really under control, slow moving, and just locked down any opportunity they had to move forward. So that was really well played. 18 points on that jam for Richter City and 8 points for Kapiti Coast.
So we've
I
got...
love the little ritual everyone has on the jam line. Like I'm going to tighten my skates, tighten my ponytail, like good to go.
I always like to make sure the tongue of my skate is in the centre. I don't know why. It drives me insane. Oh my gosh. Precious Pitbull, one-on-one blocking at the back.
Brilliant work.
That was some beautiful blocking. And now straight into play offence for their jammer.
Yeah, really great awareness and switching between the tasks for the blocker. So you're constantly looking at
and that was
playing defence or offence depending on what's happening in the jam at that
yeah,
moment.
exactly. And that was Ruby out for lead, but Stock right behind. So let's see what happens. Wow.
Stock on one toe stop, but quite quickly met by middle fatigue on the outside line there.
And Richter City have formed a nice solid tripod against Stock, but Ruby has been hit out at the back. That is Pitbull and Celtic Chaos, yes.
Ruby managing to fight her way through the pack. Scandalous really trying to play some offense here at the front for their jammer, just kind of knocking the Richter City wall apart where possible. And also keeping an eye on Ruby Dread coming up to score. So anchoring that wall, make it really difficult for Ruby to get through.
So Stock got all those points in the jam as well, 4 points.
7 points for Ruby Dread. So score really starting to spread out now. 124 for Richter City Roller Derby, 55 for Kapiti Coast.
Once you pass those blockers, you get the points. Even if you get hit back out and brought to the back of the pack, you still have those points.
Points in the pocket.
Points in the pocket, that's right.
So don't forget to grab your raffle tickets. They will be drawn at half-time of the second game. So you've got plenty of time, but don't leave it too long because your favourite number will be gone. Seeing Red Peril now go to jam for Richter City. First time out wearing the star. Red Peril actually plays in both the A team and the B team, so you'll see them again.
Yeah, having a busy night. And we've got Stock in the penalty box and Scandalous. So Kapiti are down one blocker and Richter City are in a power jam. So
beautiful
they're
offense
all on
from
offense.
Serrated Edge, just clearing the inside line.
Yeah.
Red now skating up to take advantage of that. And Edge also just decided that while they're there, they're just going to hit another blocker off the track just to really make it a whole lot easier for them to control the speed of the pack.
So just a lot of endless distraction going on from Richter City, which is making it easier for Red. Red's out.
Red there to get round the outside of Kirky Nana. Richter City waiting for Stock to get back onto the track.
And Stock has taken off the helmet cover, so
they may be looking to pass that at some point, or they may just be using it as distraction, which often happens.
Yep.
Looks like they're going to just keep pushing on that wall. It's hard to see from here exactly. And meanwhile, Red Peril putting up more points, so really great jam from them. Stock through and putting the helmet cover back on their helmet. So
Kalakeo going to the penalty bin.
And Red Peril decided to call off that jam after a beautiful hop through the inside. You could see their bench manager calling to them to call off the jam once they had the points. Richter City Roller Derby stands with our transgender, non-binary and gender queer, and square skaters on and off the track. So yeah, we just want to celebrate, I guess, our wider community.
Oh, and that was Red going to the penalty box.
It did look like it could have been a cut all the way through.
So Daisy through and lead for Kapiti, who are now in a power jam.
So I think that happened as Red was coming through for that final scoring pass.
Yeah.
Potentially cut the track as they came through the pack. So that penalty was called at the end of the last jam, which means that Davies had 30 seconds unopposed to rack up points. And it's exactly what they're doing. Oh, beautiful offense being played by Venom to put him on the inside line there to help Daisy get through. Meanwhile, Red Peril back on the track through the inside line and able to start scoring some points. Richter City looking to get together to make a wall. Venom to Plume decided that they're not going to let that happen.
And Daisy calls it, but I think Red might have snuck in some points.
Just waiting to see from the ref crew how many points are going on the board. Looks like 3.
Yeah, but Red is headed back to the penalty box. Wow. And that was the end of the first half.
Wow.
Wow.
That was a quick first half. Scores at 139 points for Richter City Roller Derby, 65 points for Kapiti Coast Roller Derby. It looks like there was a call for late contact. Thank you very much. So you cannot make contact with a skater after those final whistles have blown. Sometimes it's really hard not to do that because you're in motion, but you are ultimately responsible for the actions of your body, and so that will be called as a penalty if it is seen that you've made that contact after the whistles have been blown. So, 14 minutes for you to go and get a beverage. Thank you to Gareth Project who have supplied our beer for tonight. We've also got loads of non-alcoholic beverages and wine. There's great food on offer, so make sure you pair those two things together if you are going to have an alcoholic beverage.
We've got fantastic rich coffee cold brew, which we're enjoying ourselves currently. It's fantastic.
Yeah. And then, the Richter City crew are serving up some great kai. So help yourself to that. We will be back in a couple of minutes with the sack race. So if we've got some takers, we'd love to see you down here on the track. We're just getting set up and we're good to go. started out really even, and then I think over time, teams started to figure each other out, work out what was working for them, what wasn't, and the Richter City teams just really started to pull away. They've tightened up their walls, they're doing a great job of kind of getting together and holding at the front. Richter and Kapiti's got some amazing individual play happening, and really great defence on those Richter City jammers that are coming through, but just kind of, as that game goes, the nickel and dime becomes 8 points or 12 points, and then that point spread really happens. So.
But Kapiti will be starting in a power jam because we've got red peril in the penalty box. So this is a good way to start the second half for them.
Yeah, real opportunity to make up heaps of points in that first jam. Set the scene for the second half.
So like we were saying, it's been a pretty busy penalty box in this game as well. So it'll be interesting to see what happens with that as the game goes on.
No one seeming to be in penalty trouble though. A few skaters sitting on 4 penalties, a couple of 5, but nothing really to be super worried about for either team right now.
Yep.
247 stop jamming for Kapiti Coast Derby crew. Hoping to get out, get lead and make points. So there you go. Out, that whistle is blown and they are now the lead jam. Kapiti Coast opting to stay pretty still and try and sort of make it easy for their jammer to get back around the track.
Trying to keep the pack slow, I think. There's some whistles going.
It looks like 179 for Kapiti Coast being sent to the penalty box.
Precious Pitbull.
Meanwhile, Stock just weaving their way through the Richter City blockers.
Red is back in the pack, coming in fast.
Scandalous going for a big hit on Red Peril.
Oh, and that is Scandal going to the penalty box. Not sure.
Meanwhile, Red trying to pick up points, but unable to as Stock gets through, gets the points and calls off the jam.
So we've got 2 Kapiti in the penalty box, and I believe that is Ada for Richter City sitting for. We are now in an official timeout.
So refs will be conflaving. I was going to say conclaving. Seems to be the word of the week. So it's sort of like that. It's sort of like choosing a pope. They all get together and talk about what's been happening and decide whether a ref call needs to be made in some way.
That would be white smoke, I believe, and if no call, it'll be black. So just hold out for that one. Oh, and we've got 2 Richter City players in the bin now. That is medal fatigue. So this is, we're starting down for both teams. So this is 2 on 2. Should be exciting.
What's known as a mini pack.
Yes. Adorable. An adorable mini pack.
So 2 blockers for each team.
Yep.
And a jammer for each team. Both packs decide to sit as a pair together.
Yep.
And then jammers trying to work their way around. So Ruby Dread able to come up the inside and then swoop round to the outside and is established as the lead.
This mini pack is going pretty fast, and that's Daisy getting out.
Blockers starting to rejoin the pack now, so Kapiti Coast with 3 blockers on and really holding up Ruby Dread at the front of that pack. Richter City also with 3 blockers on.
But that's Ruby dancing around the inside. Oh, and Perky Nana headed to the penalty box.
Daisy through the middle and out to score points. Some offense coming in for Ruby Dread from Smack, who just did a big swoop into the Kapiti Coast players.
That was a lot of really fancy feet from Ruby.
And also from Daisy, who spun around on 1 toe stop on the inside here, just trying to get some points before Ruby called it off. 4 points for Kapiti Coast in that jam and 8 points for Richter City.
Box is now clear for Richter City, all 4 blockers on the track, and just 1 sitting for Kapiti, so they're starting with 3. And we have got Maddie versus Firefighter, another classic matchup of this game.
Maddie getting a big run up from the jammer line, just really trying to get some momentum before they hit the pack. is pushing out the front against Venom de Plume.
Maddie is lead. Firefighter still fighting at the back of the pack against Ray, who is making things very difficult for them.
And Dizzy Gillespie also catching the front there. Maddie really with the fire on, trying to pass Firefighter around the way on the track and do so. They're coming in at the pack together, so it'll be interesting to see what the packs do here to try and make advantage of the situation. Firefighter caught up by Mental Fatigue at the front of the pack. Medical Emergency just really being swallowed up by that Kapiti Coast wall, despite the fact that Richmond City trying to play some offense to clear a path for her to get through.
So Maddie's still on that first scoring pass and Firefighter coming up. Oh, Maddie calls it off just in time, I think.
It appears that, yes, Richmond City able to call off that jam, so 8 points for Richmond City, 4 points for Kapiti Coast. So at this point, Richmond City's quite happy to let Kapiti Coast score some points, as long as they get a few more points than Kapiti Coast each time. They're actually okay to kind of let these jams run a little bit longer than perhaps just calling them off as soon as they get 2 points.
That's right, and sometimes that's a strategic thing. They might have been trying to clear the penalty box. The penalty box is clear for this jam. We've got full packs and jammers on the track, and that is Ruby again, almost making it out, being hit out by Whiplash.
But able to cleanly re-enter and then get onto the inside line and is established as lead jammer. Stock hot on their heels though, so this will be where Richmond City decides if they're going to go for some points and call it off, or whether they're going to keep going.
Oh.
They decide to get those points and call it.
That was a nickel.
It was a nickel.
How do you know if it's a nickel or a dime?
I can't remember which one's worth more.
I think a dime is worth more.
I think the concept is if you get enough nickels and dimes, you've got $1.
Yeah. More than $1, you know. $1.59.
Indeed.
Nickels.
End of Daisy lining up against Medical Emergencies. There's a bit of a change up on what we've seen in the last few matchups.
We've got one Kapiti Coast blocker in the bin, that's Precious Pitbull. Rich City pack at the back. Got lovely 3-wall going here. Venomous, Metal and Ada. And Maddie is out in lead.
And Dizzy Gillespie sort of taking the role of offense at the front there, so really helping Medical Emergency get through the pack, but then quickly switching to play defense as soon as that job was done.
And that was
Daisy
beautiful.
Out and getting some good speed out as they come around to try and score some points.
Daisy really bounced off one of the blockers there to get out. It was great footwork.
A really experienced skater, Daisy. Like, I remember when I first started playing roller derby a very long time ago that they were playing under a different name.
Back in the aughts.
Very much, was it the aughts? Might have been 10. A long time ago, nonetheless. There's actually quite a few people playing tonight who have been playing roller derby a really long time. We were just joking about remembering old rule sets and things like that. So, yeah, it's really nice to see some of those familiar faces, as well as some brand new people on the track. That's Ruby Dredd, who is jamming for Richmond City, and Firefighter jamming for Kapiti Coast. Ruby Dredd having a great game. Seems to be getting leads fairly consistently each time they go on the track, which is a really important strategic thing for a team.
And that's Firefighter
Beautiful
out as
hop
well.
on the inside line.
Ruby somehow out again. I
blinked.
Yeah, I don't even know if I blinked.
And Killer KO doing a great job there to close down the inside line to stop Firefighter being able to get through. So really smart move there.
So that was a tidy 4-0 jam.
So Richmond City starting on a power start here. The jammer for Kapiti Coast Firefighter is in the penalty box, so this is Richmond City's opportunity to make some points. Ray Gunn doing a great job of clearing a lane, moving skater 141, that's Rick Panther, out of the way so that Matt Gormage can get through.
And Richmond City here really trying to divide up the Kapiti players. You could see Meadow trying to hold Perky at the back of the pack.
But Kapiti Coast did a great job of getting together and actually making it really difficult for Maddie to get through.
Yeah.
So even playing sort of 2-on-2 together. excellent move by Kapiti Coast. They've actually managed to stop Medical Emergency from really racking up the points on that power jam.
And Firefighter was really sneaking up then. I think the Rick City blockers noticed just in time that they needed to switch back to defence.
And so on that power jam, Richter City wasn't actually able to make any points, which is a really great play from Kapiti Coast to stop that from happening.
And both jammers are out again and scoring. And Maddie calls the jam.
Richter City decides to call it off, putting 4 points on the board. So score now sits at 171 to Richter City and 80 points to Kapiti Coast Derby Crew. So actually, when you think about what the spread was at the half, it's relatively even in the second half.
Yeah.
Both teams have put up a similar number of points so far.
Yeah. We've got one blocker in the bin. That is Perky Nana.
Stop jamming for Kapiti Coast Derby Crew up against a wall of...
Ruby again, out for lead.
It's hard to see through these refs, but it looks like Stock has still got one to beat. Meanwhile, Ruby just sneaking through on the inside line, his favourite spot, that inside line where Stock is now out and also eligible to score points.
Ruby really has that speed going for her.
And just takes the outside line, spins around, is not sure if she was legal, but
she's clean.
Call and is clean, so not...
But Stock out too. Ruby's young, that's the thing. She's got youth.
Oh, dear. So great jam there. 8 points going on the board for Richter City Roller Derby and 4 points for Kapiti Coast. Sorry, 10 points for Richter City and 4 for Kapiti Coast Derby Crew. Now we do have a raffle going, so this will be drawn at the half time of the Dunedin versus Richter City game. So 5 people who are around selling tickets for you. There are some prizes that I shall read out for you. But tickets are $2 each or 3 for $5. And the prizes include Rich Coffee Roasters coffee, Thunderpants vouchers, open skate photography zines, home game tickets, great bunch of stuff here. So, and it's a really great way to support the league. As a small crew, we're always looking for ways that we can fundraise to help support our teams to travel and for our training costs as well. So
that's right.
All support is gratefully appreciated.
So we can keep putting on events like this,
Exactly.
which it's a fun time. That was a quick jam.
Very quick jam. Dizzy Gillespie taking the star for Richter City this time, and that was also Daisy jamming for Kapiti Coast.
And Daisy got lead, put up 2 points, called it off. Tidy.
Tidy.
Got one in the bin for Kapiti, and we've got Ruby versus Firefighter on the line. This is a common matchup for us.
Really enjoying this setup that both teams put up there where they had a tripod or a 3-ball. So you'll have 2 blockers facing forwards and 1 facing backwards, and they're like the anchor for the group. And then they kind of just both move back into the jammer as they approach. So a really great way to change the momentum and kind of stop the jammer from being able to have as many options as they thought they had, because all of a sudden the distance is going to be different.
Yeah, it's a great strategic move. Oh my gosh, Ruby just
again
speeding, jumping through. Firefighter out as well, putting up points.
Firefighter putting up a great fight there to come out through that pack. But that was a tough ball to beat, and just kind of persistence really paid off there.
So that was Ruby trying to grab some few points, but I don't think that happened.
Here's not.
Right, so another
8-4 jam.
8-4 jam.
Stock taking on jammer duties again here for Kapiti Coast, and Red Carroll lining up for Richter City Roller Derby.
So Richter City are throwing out
a few different jammers?
Yeah, trying a few different things. It's really exciting to see.
Also on the track, some great dynamics kind of happening with the walls over there. So we're starting to see kind of the blockers just really work out each other's packs, and they're starting to kind of adapt to those things. So the gameplay in the first half is actually a little different to what we're seeing in the second half. Where we're seeing a lot more packs really working together in that fixed formation of a 3 blocker alternate formation with one person going to play offense.
Just seen Ruby sit down in the penalty box, so there must have been a late penalty in that last jam, which means that Kapiti are now on a power jam.
So Kapiti here will be really looking to take advantage of this, get their jammer out, get points, while Rector City has their jammer sitting in the penalty box. Kapiti looking to clear the inside line, stop going to the inside line, not quite able to make it all the way through as Rector City closes that opportunity down, but is able to escape on the turn and is now lead jammer. So looking to really kind of capitalise on that before the other jammer re-enters the pack.
And there's still a lot of time in this game. We've still got 17 minutes, so...
Precious Purple really trying to fight that wall of Rector City blockers and kind of open up the opportunity. Isn't able to do so, which then means that Stock is forced to re-enter the pack at the back.
Oh, and Ruby back on the track and quickly through on the initial pass.
Stock decides that they will call that jam off before Ruby has a chance to put up any points.
And that was a 3-0 jam for Kapiti Derby crew. And we've got a clear penalty box.
Love to see it. Red Peril now jamming against End of Daisy for Kapiti Coast. And both teams, 4 blockers on the track. Starting right up on the jammer line, forcing those jammers to fight their way through a big sort of wall of blockers to be able to get into the lead and scoring position.
And that is a penalty on Smack, who's the captain for the team today. Not sure what the penalty was. And a penalty for Perky Nana as well.
But meanwhile, End of Daisy through, lead and scoring points. So Kapiti Coast now sitting up in front of the pack, making it easier for their jammer to score points because
Red is right on her tail. Let's see if they put up any points.
Looks like a 0-0 jam there. So 2 points, I'm afraid. 2 points for Kapiti Coast going up, 0 for Rector City. So 95 to Kapiti Coast, 189 to Rector City. So Kapiti Coast actually, if you looked at it half for half, doing pretty well on this.
Yeah.
The second part of the game.
Yep. It's close.
We have the emergency services jammer battle going on here. So medical emergency and firefighter.
I love it.
Firefighter out and very quickly establishing themselves as the lead jammer for this jam. Medical emergency also out of the pack now too.
Having a great time, I've got to say.
Huge grins on faces.
Yeah. Oh, and Maddie hops the apex
We
for
love
an
to see
easy
that.
4
A huge
points.
grin. Very pleased with themselves. Firefighter pushing their way through, coming up against mental fatigue and decides to call off the jam before Maddie can get any more points.
And that was Whiplash going to the penalty bin right at the end of that jam. That was a really exciting jam.
Sure was. And so if you're interested in some dinner in between games, we have some homemade nachos. There's a chili one, there's a veggie one, and there's also a carnivorous one. We've got cheese toasties with a huge amount of fillings available, including vegan cheese. And if you feel like a little treat, we've got crepes with chocolate spread and sugar and lemon and all that kind of good stuff as well. So make sure you keep yourself fed. It's a hunger-inducing kind of spectator sport, you know? Really work up an appetite. Phil de Plume really sort of putting some pressure on Ruby Dread there, getting him out and making him rewind all the way back.
Oh, we have just received word that we are actually out of nachos, so that's sad, but tells you how good they are, and next time you've got to get in there quicker, yeah.
Stop really pushing against the wall of Rector City blockers, so that's Edge, Killer KO and Red Peril. And meanwhile, Ruby Dread facing exactly the same challenge at the front up against a wall of Kapiti Coast blockers, is able to get out.
Ruby is lead and is scoring. Then number Plume going to the penalty box. Oh, as is Stock, as the jammer. So Rich City are in a power jam.
A few tumbles on turn 1 over there, but Ruby Dread probably now looking to kind of make some points while they've got that sort of 30 seconds of unopposed scoring opportunity.
Yeah, and this is already a big jam for Rector City. They're already on 12 points. Ruby
Edge doing a great job there of just squeezing the Kapiti Coast blockers in so that they weren't able to come out and block against Ruby. And continuing to do so, holding on to a blocker to really stop the pack from being able to move forward very much. Kapiti Coast doing their darndest to get together and to stop Ruby from getting through, but she's just slipping through on that inside line. Yeah, 20 points already in this jam for Ruby Dread. Huge jam. Rector City
Stock is back on the track, holding, being held by Rector City, sorry. And that's the jam.
It is the jam.
Were there any points on that last pass?
Let's see.
22.
So 22 points in that jam for Ruby Dread. Huge jam. Rector City now sitting on 217 points, but Kapiti Coast really close to 100. 98 points. So this is a high-scoring game.
It is. And I think that is a team timeout for Kapiti.
So it could be here looking to change the momentum, have a bit of a corridor about what's working, what they want to change up, how they're going to do things differently.
Sometimes it's just a moment to take a bit of a breath.
Regroup.
Yeah.
Get all your ducks in a row.
Yeah.
And so on. Skaters are getting back on the track. So full lineups for both teams here. So 4 blockers apiece and a jammer each. The ideal format.
Daisy versus Smack. And that was Rector City really rolling back on Kapiti there, so trying to limit their space to work.
Both jammers really having to look for any space available and just going side to side and then being stopped at every turn. But End of Daisy able to sneak through his lead and making good pace.
Smack are still fighting in the pack.
Daisy, however, just slicing straight through that pack and putting up easy points, it looks like.
Yeah. So good jam so far for Kapiti.
Putting real pressure on Smack, just tracking them left and right across the pack.
Perkinana is an absolute veteran of the sport.
Yep.
OG, Rector City.
Very much OG Rector City.
Smack is out now, but that's Daisy calling it off right before Smack can smack the pack.
102 points for Kapiti Coast. I'm not even...
Fair enough, don't acknowledge it.
I'll give you points for that.
Don't encourage it.
So 102 points for Kapiti Coast Derby Crew and 217 for Rector City Roller Derby. Medical emergency coming out to jam, and guess who is coming out to jam against them? It's Firefighter.
It's the battle of the first responders.
I have just made that up, but I'm just assuming from their names that they both have something to do with.
For the sake of our amusement,
I think
we'll just go with it.
Yeah. So it looks like the Zebras are having a little huddle. Probably have some rules, things they're just going to chat about, make sure that everything is safe and as it should be.
There's so many angles in roller derby that they have to confer with each other often to confirm that something they thought happened did happen.
So you'll see there are actually 7 refs on the track at any one time, which feels like a lot. We have 1 ref tracking each of the 2 jammers. Then there are refs on the inside, so they're watching basically what you can see from inside the track and making sure that blockers are hitting each other legally, are not holding on to people longer than they should, are not impeding progress in any way, that everything is safe.
They're also monitoring the pack.
Also making sure that everyone is within the same distance of each other as they need to be legally engaging.
Yeah.
And then we also have referees on the outside of the track doing the same thing. And they cover a portion of the track each. It's actually quite hard to keep up with skaters who are moving fast. If you're on the outside, it's a long way round. So it looks like there's a lot of refs, but they all have really specific roles.
They are all people that can eyeball 10 feet. That is something that you
As
learn
in the
in
distance,
roller
not
derby.
as
Yes,
in
yeah,
the fence or
yeah,
skates.
sorry.
Although they
yes.
can actually look at 10 pairs of skates at a
They,
time as
yeah,
well.
yeah.
So yeah, they're constantly looking at people's feet, at their hips, at their forearms, making sure that they are making contact legally, that everything is safe out there, and that the points are being scored. So points are scored by passing the hips of another player. So the people who are jam riffing also have to keep a really close eye on the body position of everything that's happening as well. It's a hard job.
It's a really hard job.
Looks like we're nearly ready. Refs appear to be back in position. Skaters are on the track. Maybe not quite. Timekeeper is still signalling that we're in a timeout, so we will just keep talking with the official timeout.
But the ref's talking to the NSO, so tidying up some paperwork
Could
maybe.
be. There's a lot going on, and that's the other thing. As well as the refs, we've got a whole bunch of people, the non-skating officials, who help make sure that everything the refs are doing is actually recorded correctly. So they are keeping track of the score, keeping track of people's penalties, making sure that we're running to time. Like, there's a whole lot of stuff that happens. That, you know, the people who jump the apex, for sure, are amazing, but also this sport just could not happen without all the other people who make it possible.
Exactly. A lot of mahi goes into this.
While we're talking about that, our friends at Roller Derby Streaming New Zealand over here do huge money around the country. They have been integral to really the development of roller derby in New Zealand by making it easy for people to watch this game. So our huge, big meaning to them.
We've got Maddie again taking a run up for that inside line.
Red Peril being sent, I think that looks like there was a direction of gameplay penalty being called against Red Peril, so they'll take a step
And Firefighter just sneaking through on the inside to take lead. Maddie up against a wall of Pitbull, Venom, Whiplash and
some chaos. The Kapiti Coast crew are doing a great job here holding
really slowing things down.
Yeah, huge wall.
So Maddie's just snuck out. Firefighter on a scoring pass, through on the inside.
Lattenbolt looked to levitate for a second there as they kind of jumped and did like a 180 spin. Maddie just able to slide through that wall that time.
So both jammers are scoring.
Pitbull playing some great offense with Firefighter, getting those Richter City blockers out of the way so that Firefighter get through and get points.
Maddie sneaking through again for another scoring pass.
And Firefighter deciding to call off that jam, so 8 points apiece, or is it a 12-8? Just waiting to see final points going on the board there. It looks like it was 8 points apiece, so 114 points for Kapiti Coast and 225 for Richter City at this stage.
Kapiti have a clear penalty box and we have one standing for Richter City, so they will be starting with 3. Once again, we have got Ruby Dread versus Still on Call, Stop.
Ruby Dread really using her team to get through the pack there, so kind of hands on her players, getting them to move people out of the way so she can get through. But Stop just able to push their way through the pack and is lead jammer.
Richter City pack at the back and Stop goes for a couple of points and calls it. Let's see how it went.
Looks like no points awarded to
points.
either jammer.
Oh, 2 points.
2 points on the board for
Kapiti.
I can smell crepes. So
I
make you
know,
hungry.
yeah, they smell amazing.
So the nachos might be sold out, but those crepes smell pretty amazing too. So get amongst it. Smack going to jam for Richter City and End of Daisy for Kapiti Coast. Perkinana doing a great job there of breaking up the Richter City blockers so that End of Daisy can just weave their way through the remaining blockers.
Kapiti have really slowed Smack down, but in saying that, she's through on the inside.
And End of Daisy now looking to get some points.
Ooh, that was a big hit.
Everyone turning, so falling over on the turn, but looks like everyone's okay, which is what we're mostly concerned with here.
Yeah, everybody got up. And Daisy is pulled to the back of the pack, getting some offence from Turkey-Nana.
Yeah, Turkey-Nana playing some offence, breaking up that wall, trying to make space for their jammer to get through.
Smack is out as well. So I think so far this is a 4-4. Yep.
Kapiti Coast choosing to take the front, and Smack just trying to score some points before the whistle is blown, but it does not look
So
like
I believe a 4-4 is what we would call a wash.
we would call that a wash.
Yeah.
Basically just means whenever you end up with pretty much the same difference in points as what you had before. So if it's a 4-4, an 8-8, a 0-0.
But you've taken some time off the clock, and sometimes that's what the team in the lead want. They just want to tick down.
Yeah, sometimes in roller derby you're not just playing against the other team, you're playing against the clock as well. So as this game progresses, we start to sort of say, how much time do we want to burn off the clock? Do we really want to be making points here, or are we actually quite content to just kind of let the game play out and trade point for point, being really comfortable where we are? And those are all different decisions you can make as a team at any point of the game.
Because each time you do one of those short jabs, you're also taking those 30 seconds before and after off the clock as well.
Battle of the Emergency Services on again. So 5-5 medical emergency. I love this. Pushing up on the outside line there this time. 5-5 nearly clear, but taken up by Reagan just at the last second, and then met by 3-3-7 at Ada Shubrace.
Firefighter manages to dodge around. Oh, but there's Maddie already out with 4 points and calling the jam.
So 4 points for medical emergency that time, no points for Firefighter. And 6 minutes and 50 seconds remain on this game.
2:33 for Victor City and 1:20 for Kapiti Derby Crew.
One of the underrated jobs in this game is the timekeeper. Got to have a good loud voice, be really confident, and keep everything running time, even though there's chaos going on around you. So,
yep, they're an integral part of it for sure. That was just some amazing offense for Smack immediately on the whistle to get Ruby out on the inside line.
However, met by almost a movable wall from Kapiti Coast, but able to just kind of weave their way through that. Stock thinks the inside line is wide open, but Smack just kind of came in and tried to close that off at the last second. Stock able to get through, but Ruby decided to get some points and call off the jam. Looks like Dizzy Gillespie's going to come out and jam for Victor City, and End of Daisy for Kapiti Coast. Both teams starting with a full contingent of blockers, which we like to see.
Yeah, I mean, I don't want to jinx it, but I feel like the penalty action has kind of calmed down. Yeah, everybody's settled in.
Dizzy through the inside line, assisted by Ray Gunn with some offense.
End of Daisy is fighting against Metal and Ada at the back of the pack.
With some help from Pitbull there.
And coming up to meet Ray at the top. This has been a common occurrence in this game.
And you'll see Victor City kind of spread out, just really trying to make sure that they give Ray enough space and they can stay in play and engaged.
That is 4 points on the board for Rich City, and Daisy is out of the pack. Oh, that was a little jammer on jammer contact. Love to see it, makes things a little bit more exciting.
Bit spicy. Both packs really trying to just lock down the defense. Ray Gunn doing some great work up the front, but has to let Daisy go.
Dizzy has really been slowed down by this strong Kapiti wall.
And Dizzy Gillespie decided to pull that jam off before End of Daisy could come back down and score points. So really smart move there.
So 2 more points went up for Victor City there, so that was a 6-4 jam.
And only 4 minutes left in this game. It's been a pretty exciting game so far. Even if the point spread looks quite big, the actual action on the track, you would think these teams are much closer than what the scoreboard would tell you.
Yeah, absolutely.
Oh, look, it's the emergency services crew. Medical emergency and firefighter again. 3 blockers on the track for Kapiti Coast, 4 on the track for Rector City, and Maddie just sneaking up that inside line, managing to get around.
Maddie is a real noodle.
Absolutely.
That was noodling.
Like a piece of spaghetti that just kind of whipped their way around. Meanwhile, firefighter on the inside line able to get through.
Running up the inside line there, really. Running on skates.
Yeah.
Incredible.
It's a skill.
It is.
The inside line is wide open.
It is.
Both jammers also saw that. We're like, great, the inside line is open, we will take that.
Yeah. That was a big hit from Perkinana right at the end of that jam and being sent to the bin.
Signature move is the last line of defence from Perkinana.
Absolutely. So 2 in the bin for Kapiti. And we are in an official timeout.
So it's a great time for us to tell you about the raffle, because I now have these prizes from Open Skate in my hand. So do get them. There's a whole bunch of things in here. There's loads of stuff from Iko Iko. There's some Wellington Chocolate Factory chocolate. There's Thunderpants vouchers. There's Rich Coffee Roasters beans. There's zines and stickers and home game tickets. Tickets are $2 each or 3 for $5, and it will be drawn at the half time of the second game. You don't need to be here to win, so we'll get your details. So even if you're not staying for the second game, you can still be in the draw. It looks like we are about ready to get back into the game. I think that we may have seen a skater reach their 7th.
Yeah, we did.
Limit.
So Perkinana has had to leave the game, and we have got Venom taking their place in the penalty box, because somebody has to serve the penalty even if the skater has received their 7th.
And that's really so that they can actually leave the penalty box and come back onto the track.
Yes.
Otherwise you would be playing the whole jam without that skater at all.
Yeah. So Kapiti will be starting with just 2 blockers on the track. Rector City have their full contingent of blockers.
That's the end of the official timeout, and we're ready to go.
We've only got a couple more jams in this game, if that.
Yeah, 2 minutes 50 on the clock, so maybe 2 or 3 jams, depending on how things go. Ruby just really like gunning for that inside line.
You could see the eyes on it, and it worked. Ruby leads.
Dizzy Gillespie closing that space out on the outside for her.
And Stock has also made it round.
Skating backwards,
just casually.
No big deal. Beautiful footwork by Stock there.
Yep. Ruby fighting for points.
Kapiti goes really locking down with a 3-ball in front, stopping her from being able to do that, but she is able to get out.
Ruby again on the inside, Stock fighting around the outside, takes a bit of a tumble.
Rector City looking to
Ruby already back.
Down. Great offense there from Venom to Plume, really trying to make space for Stock to come through.
Oh, that was
also
beautiful.
Stopping Dizzy Gillespie from being able to re-engage. So really great coordination there.
Yeah, that was an incredible combo of offense to get the jammer out. Oh. Big hit from Pitbull on Ruby.
To call the jam off.
And did Stock get a point? No.
Not quite.
So close.
So 4 points on the board that time for Kapiti Coast, 8 for Rector City. Score sits at 266 versus 133, so 50-50.
Yeah, and we are under 2 minutes left in the game.
So you might get 1 or 2 more jams, depending on what the jammers decide to do here. So end of Daisy and medical emergency, lining up to jam. Kapiti Coast with 2 blocking the penalty box, and Rector City with 4 on the track. Maddie straight up the inside line. Daisy looking to try and push through, but Serena Egg just really kind of keeping the brakes on there. And looking for an assist, but unable to take advantage of that is Daisy.
And Edge going all the way to the back of the pack, forcing Daisy to come in. Maddie on the outside, through for another scoring pass.
Some great offense there being played by Killer KO as well, just squeezing the Kapiti Coast players. And although Maddie didn't take that line, it was enough to distract them. Daisy out now and able to score points, so she's been looking to make the most of that.
Maddie again noodling around the outside for another scoring pass and calls off the jam.
Trademark move.
Trademark. So looks like we've got just enough time for one more jam.
33 seconds on the clock when that whistle was blown. So that gives us just enough time to squeeze in one more jam.
Always want one more jam.
Except when we don't. Yep, Ruby doing the ponytail tidy. You know, everyone has a thing they do in the jam.
They do.
So Firefighter and Ruby Dream lining up the jam. Everybody has the full pack on the track, which we love to see. Rector City with a 3-wall at the back is sending one person to play offense, and Kapiti Coast putting all of their players onto defense at the moment.
Both
looks
these
like
jammers
coming in now to play offense to try and get Firefighter through. Both packs really working hard on defense here, but Ruby Dream able to get through and pick up lead jam.
This is going to be a strong finish for Rector City. Both these jammers have been in such heavy rotation for the game. They've been working so hard.
Very hard.
Ruby gets knocked out and brought to the back of the pack. And Firefighter is approaching on a scoring path. And Ruby calls it. That's the game.
So the unofficial score is at 133 for Kapiti Coast Derby Crew, 276 points for Rector City. We are just waiting for confirmation of that from the refs, but I think it's fairly confident that we can say Rector City won that game. So big game for both teams, and it's really lovely to be able to have Kapiti Coast come and play in our space. We're really fortunate to have leagues like them very close to us geographically, because as you can imagine, it's quite an effort to get around the country and play other teams, so really appreciate it.
Yeah, really special.
And Wellington actually has 3 leagues in the major, so there's the Ringataka Roller Derby League, there's Kapiti Coast, and there's also Rector City and Wellington. So really lucky to have teams that can train together and practice against each other and play together.
Yeah, definitely.
A lot of cheering happening on the Rector City bench, cheering for the NSOs and the refs and the other team and the audience, which is we love to see. If you would like to come down, you're able to stand on the side of the track here like the Dunedin and Rector City team are and do high fives. You're welcome to come and join.
And this Rector City taking their victory lap, well earned. Kapiti. That was a really fun game. I saw plenty of smiles, everybody loving it.
Good time. Good to watch.
Yeah, some big hits.
Big hits and apex jumps.
A lot of inside line running.
Yeah. Some great offense, some great defense.
Yeah.
Just what we want to see a little bit.
Some solid walls.
So if you like that, you've got to like the next game as well. It's going to be Dunedin Derby A versus Rector City A. So Dunedin Derby is playing in white, Rector City in purple. They're going to be warming up really soon. And we will see you for that game. Although we're signing off because we're kind of involved in this next game as well. So thank you very much for joining us. Your new MCs will be jumping on the mic very soon. And the next game will kick off at 7 p.m.
So go enjoy some of our lovely beverages, our lovely food, and we will see you soon. Ka kite.
second game, which is going to be fantastic. So, rolling out are the guests in white. All the way from the South Island, south of the South, we have Dunedin, Derby, Gallo Lasses. In the white with the purple accents, we have number 1, Simba Rogers. 107, Mars. 12, Princess Di. 121, Velociracer. 131, and your captain, Glitterspank. 191, T-Rex. 20, Critical Roller. 22, Foxy. 24, Still on Call. 247, Open Buffet. 27, Little Yellow Jacket. 73, Roughhouse Rosie. 77, Mad Yeasty Dozen. 78, Leisha Lawless. And number 9, Dump Truck. And your Gallo Lasses are benched today by Body Snatcher, Avenger, and Daddy DeVito.
Thanks so much for joining us from Dunedin. Next up, we've got our Richter City A team joining us. We've got 085 Hot Rod, 09 Flying Kiwi, 101 Tough Bickies, 109 Sting, 121 Ray Gun, 123 Tino, 14 Red Peril, 141 Grim Sleeper, 412 Clear the Decks, 414 Lens Flare, 420 Furious George, 8008 Gas, 81 Scrappy, and 96 Scrape. Richter City A team is joined on the bench by Rusty Stiletto, Crunch, Come At Me Bro, and Jalapeno. The Richter City A team are playing their first game of the season and are aiming to go to Australia later this year to play at Tropic Carnage in Brisbane. Playing in their first games for A today are Red Peril, Grim Sleeper, and Gas. Next, we've got our skating officials coming out. Our head ref tonight is Pseudo Stripes. Our IPR is Mr. Fox. Jam refs are Soul and Greta Growler. OPRs are Crash, I'm Appalled, and Fouled Out. We'd also like to take this time to greet our non-skating officials, Dr. Reaver Song, Invader Sin, Sprace, V, Hertz, Rose, Jersey Girl, Wizzy Crizzy, and Needles. We've got a few chants going. I, for one, learned our chant tonight.
Welcome to those on the stream. Welcome to you in the crowd. Hey, you in the crowd, you too can have a chant.
Give us a cheer. We've been reminded that we have a few skaters on the Dunedin team who are skating their first game. I think I've got the list here. 3 skaters, Velociracer, T-Rex, and Mad Yeasty Dozen. Well done, team. We're all here to better ourselves as skaters and, most importantly, to have some fun.
Ain't that the truth? All right. First jam, first half. Here we go. On the line for Richter City, we have Flying Kiwi. Oh, both the 9s. And number 9 for the Gallo Lasses. Dump Truck.
We've got the 5-second call. So you can see everyone skating back to that jam line, and we're off.
Kiwi taking the offense down by Tough Bickies from the outside to the in.
We've got the lead jammer with Richter City's Flying Kiwi. I'm sure quite a lot of people are aware, but it's worth mentioning the importance of having lead when you are the jammer. It comes with a couple of perks because basically roller skating is a bit of a race with interception allowed. Would you say that's true, Edge?
Nice wee bit of footwork from Kiwi on the outside. Absolutely. You've got to have lead. You get to pull the jam. You're in charge of this jam. Otherwise, it will go for the full 2 minutes.
Yep.
And that 2 minutes can be a hard slog. Back on track is Dump Truck. And just as I say that, Dump Truck is back to the penalty box. Things occurring. First jam in the first half. Nice little wee beat it for Kiwi from the outside line.
And we've got some good comms happening out on the track. It's always really important. You'd imagine that it's really loud. It's true, it is. Skates are incredibly loud when you're in it, but it's important to let your teammates know what's going on if you can see.
Gaz trying to break up that 3 wall. Just in case you're wondering, we are on a 5-second delay here. We've set it ourselves. We don't want to give away anything that's happening on the track to either team. You never know, they could be listening. So if you're wondering why, why are they so behind on the play, it's intentional.
Righto, we're lining up for Jam 2. We've got number 20. Oh.
Shove out by Critical Roller, trying to get the jump on Grim. At the moment, it's a bit of a schmaltz, everybody's in. And we have our lads taking the seat in the penalty box.
And we've got lead once again taken by Richter with Grim Sleeper.
Princess Guy heading out and running back Scrappy to try and give Critical Roller a little bit of an advantage.
So we've just gotten that no pack call, which means that Richter needs to move up as the backpack. Otherwise, it is illegal for us to contact jammers and for jammers to contact that lead. There's lots of love coming in from the Twitch stream. Please keep it coming.
Ready to rock is clear the decks to the 4-1-2. So quick on that jam line. Pretty much ready to roll before most of the both teams.
We've got T-Rex coming through and earning that lead jammer. Bit of a race going on here.
Love a jammer race. Both balls setting up, getting ready. Touching on the hips, calls the jam. There we go. Both teams with points on the board. We have 32 for Richter, 1 on the board for Dunedin.
Waiting for that lineup. There we go.
Simba pushing hard up the front for the Galalasses. At the back, stuck for a wee while. A nice wall was George, but found the gap. Popped through. Glad to lead. Set it a 12 from Simba. Everyone's camped down on corner number 2. with the jam ball by George.
We've got some nice strategy happening, as well as with some tight walls out there. It's incredibly important when you're jamming, not that I jam very much, to make sure that you are constantly trying to look for the gaps so that you're not exhausting yourself pushing that wall. Although for some jammers, that is what works out best for them, but that's what we've got that offense player for there. If they can help you out, they will be there to help you out and can be a blessing.
That's true. Blockers there, offense and defense, doing all the things. I am, like my mate Chip would say, allergic to the jammer start. Don't give me that cover. I'll break out in a rash.
Scared of the star. Not scared, allergic to the star.
Allergic to the star. But all the props in the world to those who do jam. Whether you're a first string jammer or a pivot, of course. Wondering who those players are with the stripe on their helmets cover, if they be the pivot, which is the backup jammer, would say. Carry Flying Kiwi, the solo jammer, on the track.
Known as a power jam, and now we've got that white jammer back from the box and engaging in play again. We've still got Kiwi, there we go. Making that call, ending the jam as lead jammer.
Great strong wall from Yellow Lasses. Just about got through, and the Lasses managed to hit them out.
There are a few recycles there for sure.
So it's all about superior position when it comes to roller derby. Great footwork and being able to skate, but whoever has superior position on the track.
Yeah, can be really hard when you're popped out. You're not quite sure who did it sometimes. Got to go back and make sure that you're behind those who were in front of you. And that's where we get the recycling from.
Lead goes to the Gallo Lasses. Critical roll. Has taken lead. Must be a bit of a gamer, board game fan, or online games. Dungeons and Dragons, perhaps. I don't know, I'm just throwing it out there with a name like Critical Roller. With a boring old six-sided dice in the drawer. So we have Richter on the defense because it's a power jam currently to the Yellow Lasses.
We've got Clear the Ducks back out of the bin. Trying to make their way through that pack.
You can see how quick the skaters are. Sometimes they're at the top and they have to flip around and jump to the back.
So this is a case of one of those beautiful star passes where the pivot has received that jammer cap. And that was Richter's 414 Lens Flare who received that jammer cap. Didn't make it back around to that pack to get through. The jam was called before they could engage again, but that was a successful star pass. Yep.
It was indeed. We're able to stop any points from the scoreboard here. Shimmy and hustle from both jammers. Finding the gaps where they can.
Can be tough to do. There's a lot of movement, and particularly in derby, we practice a lot our lateral movements, which is our side-to-side movement, so that we can track each other, keep hold of people.
I hope you in the crowd are cheering for your favourite player, or official, of course.
Oh, the officials. So much love to the officials. This game wouldn't be possible without the multitude of officials. And roller derby is actually one of the games that's got the most number of officials supervising the game while it's happening. So tonight we've got 3 outside pack refs. They're keeping an eye on that pack to make sure that there's no penalties happening to individuals, but also helping advise what's happening with a view from the front, the middle, and the back, which we've got a gorgeous view of right now. We've got 2 jam refs on the inside who are particularly keeping an eye on those jammers, counting points as they are earned, and also awarding penalties as those are earned as well. We've got some inside pack refs. It looks like we've got 2 tonight. Those inside pack refs are keeping an eye on the pack from the inside, as you would assume. And then we've got our head ref. That's the person who's helping us understand where a pack is, who's in play, who's out of play, and when there's not a pack.
Cool. Is either pack is here, or pack is front, or pack is back.
Or no pack, or split pack. Yeah, so while we're listening to each other when we're on the track, it's incredibly important to make sure we are listening to those refs because they are giving us a little bit of information about where we need to move so that we are in play again and can legally engage with other players without being rewarded a penalty.
Jamming and lead for Richter is Furious George. Pushing through. Trying to get through that wall of white shirts. Out of the pack, but getting the not lead jammer signal is Majesty Wilton.
It's that beautiful butterfly movement by the jam ref, which I have to say is, it's pretty fun to do. You feel very graceful, like a swan.
How are you going in the stands there? Can you hear us? Are we loud enough? I'm getting lots of thumbs up. Woohoo!
Have you all bought your raffle tickets? Oh, everyone's showing us their raffle tickets and their drinks. We'll be calling the raffle at halftime, don't forget. So you've still got 15 minutes to purchase those raffle tickets, folks. We've got Clear the Decks out.
Yep, Bradley took advantage of that nice bit of offense, I believe, from Gaz on the inside line, also shutting down Simba. Corner number 3.
Ooh, we get to talk about, give us a couple seconds. I get too excited. So what we just had happen was a really exciting, 2 jammers had penalties. Now, when we don't have jammers on the track, we essentially don't have anyone to block against, and our game would be stalled ever so slightly. So When one jammer gets sent to the bin and then another jammer gets sent to the bin, the second jammer will sit how long the first jammer sat for when the first jammer is released. And this just means that we can get back to gameplay as quickly as possible. So it's slightly different from if a blocker or pivot were to go to the penalty bin, where they're required to sit for 30 seconds per penalty.
Low blocking from both teams.
Not penalty low blocking.
They're digging in, doing their best to hold back the opposing jammer.
Keeping that nice derby pose. And that's our jam called. Am I correct? We're getting ready for jam 9 here.
Start from both teams, decided to hang out at that pivot line. Through and grabbing lead is Flying Kiwi. Went to the end, decided to duck to the out. And we have had a star pass from Gala Lasses.
That's it.
Richter tactically calling jam off before Gala Lasses come out for points.
Requires a lot of track awareness of what's going on, and again, some assistance from those who you've got on the bench to help you understand what's sort of going on.
That is true. The rules changed not too long ago. What, last 2 or 3 years? You can have a maximum of 4 people on the bench to assist with coaching and lineups.
Can help captain as well, which can be quite helpful. If you've got one captain who's playing, you can have an alt who's on your bench. Just means that you've got an extra voice to call things like timeouts, official reviews, etc. Should your captain be occupied playing and or in the penalty bin.
Those who like stats as well. I've seen the old person either with a tablet or a laptop crunching the numbers, so Derby welcomes everybody.
Oh, if you love stats, roller derby is for you, friends. If you like maths, physics, any of that stuff, this is for you. If you love a good pun, derby is especially for you. If anyone's got some killer derby names, please feel free to come and let us know what they are, or let one of the Richter members know what they are, and they'll let us know. While we're taking this official review, we've got a nice opportunity to remind everyone of our food, our wonderful garage project, beers, Karma drinks, and we've also got rich coffee, coffees and cold brew.
There we go. I can vouch for the Karma drinks. I've had the odd lemon one or a ginger ale that's there, and I believe we've got some new beer flavors today as well. So.
Oh, the White Mischief is out, and the White Mischief is absolutely my favorite. Here we go.
Inside line cleared for Grim.
A nice tight jam.
Yeah, calling it off really quickly to make sure dump truck doesn't sneak some points, maybe. Both teams have got points on the board, which is what it's all about.
We've got 191 T-Rex against 412 Clover Dex. And we're off. seems like the Packs decided that they were going to set up at a bit further up the track, giving both of those jammers a good run up. But now we do have a bit of a fight to get through. We've got no Packs.
Nice run back by Mars from clear the decks. Tino's coming in to give Dex a bit of a hand, throwing some offensive moves. Both jammers still looking to get through the pack. Heavy defensive work from both teams. No lead declared for either team because both jammers took the star off the helmet. Once you do that, you are no longer eligible for lead, so this will go the full 2 minutes.
Like we said before, this is when we really start to dig into that endurance. It can be a bit of a rough go for 2 minutes if you're pushing the whole time. So important to keep an eye on those gaps when you've got them.
Hard grinding jam on that one. That was jam number 12, I do believe. I think the blockers won that one.
Sounds like we've got a timeout called by the Dunedin team.
First timeout of the game, called by the Gallasses. Now, it'd be remiss of us if we didn't mention that, yes, both teams have got players from Team New Zealand skating today. See if you know who they are. Don't forget to cheer for them if you do know who they are, because the World Cup is occurring in Austria later this year in July.
Make sure if you're not following them on socials that you give them a follow. They've got some gorgeous t-shirts that are out and about, some great merch, and we're doing some fundraising at the moment to help those the Team New Zealand players get to Austria.
Yeah, so along with the raffles that Richter have got going tonight, which we know you've got your tickets, and if you haven't, we'll be looking for Punch and Bolt, so they'll be able to take your money. Team New Zealand also have a raffle or two available as well. There's firewood and a mega prize pack raffle too. So, oh, check it out. Who's got fans in the audience? We have still on call up against Furious George. Furious George took the outside lane and grabbed lead. And then decided to jump that line on the inside just because she can. Don't make it look too easy, George, and everyone will want to do it. Still on call, Meg. The blockers of Scrape, Gaz, and Becky's to get past, to get through for initial pass. And did so.
flying kiwi.
Looks like George is throwing down the gauntlet. Kiwi's picked it up. Anything you can do, I will do on one skate. But then, off to the penalty box.
We've got lead jammer, which was transferred over to the Dunedin Gallo Lasses. Number 9, dump truck.
Yeah, dump truck going through on the toe stops. And front wheels as well. Why not? I think we're going to see all the fancy footwork in this game.
Oh, if you can be on those tippy toes, go for it. As long as you're not getting a stop block penalty, you're good to go. Hop along.
And this might only be the second or third time the teams have come round to our side of the venue. Up close and personal.
Bit of a fast pack moving here.
Kiwi looking, hunting for the caps. That's a lovely tool from Yellow Lasses. Biding their time.
Biding their time indeed.
Timeout called by Richter. That's another 1 minute timeout. So each team has 3 to use per game. Plus they have an official review per half as well. Take a minute to collect your thoughts, figure out what you're going to do.
And that minute goes by so quickly, let's not lie. It's a quick minute and then it's back to the game.
And so you have a plan, and then you have to have another plan. If something happens to plan A, so plan B has to come along. And somewhere along the line, plan C sort of develops. And then you think, what the hell, let's just skate. Or is that just me? That's just me.
Oh, we'll figure it out. I feel like most of the time you look at me and I've just got panic in my eyes. We'll find each other. It'll be fine.
What's happening in old Twitch land over there? Hi.
Oh, we've got some lovely communications going on here. Some things that are very kind to those who are playing on the track, and some things that have a bit of strategy to them. So I'm not going to read them out just now. But thank you so much for contributing to our Twitch stream. And special shout out to Roller Derby Streaming New Zealand for bringing the game action to fans far and wide. Thank you for those who join us. Don't forget to check out their donation link and support the live stream if you can. We really appreciate it, and it helps us make sure that we're able to share these games with those who might not be in town to come and see them.
Absolutely. And with an international accent such as venomous, actually understand the word donate with our fabulous Kiwi accent. Of course, people in Twitch stream international land seem to think that we say donut. Fabulous Kiwi accent.
I mean, if you wanted to
donut.
swing by the Kilburney Indoor Rec Center and donate some donuts to me, I would accept them. I like the ones with chocolate on top. Edge, would you say no?
Never. My body is built for chocolate. Back on the track.
Look, it just means I can cover more than one lane at once, and I'm okay with that.
Now this jam started off very interestingly with a bit of a roller, holding back decks. So pretty much a jammer start, a defensive start, with critical roller taking lead jammer status, during the one-footed spin and twirls to grab lead jam. In the meantime,
which are accentuated by that gorgeous skirt/sport. It's very swayy, and I'm in love. We've got this jam called off.
Dunedin had locked down the Star Pass really from Rector City. Whilst the Star Pass had actually occurred, they weren't able to, the new jam was Vickers wasn't actually able to get out. Of the max mode.
Here we go, a bit of fast footwork from Grim Sleeper.
Yeah, great lead from Grim.
Earning lead jammer.
Inside line. Take the shortest route possible.
And
If it's open.
through that tough wall, taking some hits, we've got 191 from Dunedin out as well, T-Rex. And that's our jam called again. Sometimes it's all about short and sweet, get those points and get out, eh?
That's it. The term be hit it and quit it.
I wonder if that's why we tap our hips when we want to end the jam. We, like I jam.
Yeah, like we jam.
We would like everyone to know that everyone is a jammer in roller derby. Some of us enjoy it more than others.
It's the resigned, okay, I'll do it, I'll get it over and done.
The begging eyes of your bench, holding that jammer helmet cover, also known as a panty. Sorry for those who don't like the word, but that's what it is.
Don't make eye contact, don't make eye contact. They don't know that I'm here.
If I just cower behind my chair. No, it's all in good fun and a great way to challenge yourself, I'd say. That's certainly something that I'm personally working on this year, is accepting that jammer panty with a little bit less trepidation and hesitation.
That's it, because you do have, make some of the four blockers out there who are
Your
willing to give you a
buddies.
hand.
Your buddies.
That's it, so long as they're not, off to the penalty box for something that they shouldn't have done.
And those 30 seconds that you're waiting for your friends to come back, they can feel very long, eh?
That's it. Actually, how many penalties did you get in game one today?
Goose egg. Goose egg for Etch as well.
Twinsies! We got no penalties in the first game. Yay! Sometimes you just got to brag about yourself. Maybe I wasn't playing hard enough.
I'm blushing so hard, Etch. No,
Watch the
it was
game back.
it was a great game, and if I recall, no one fouled out. I don't think anyone reached 7 penalties.
Not
So
from our side.
right. My apologies if I am misinformed or for bringing it up.
Anyway, how are we going out there? Teams?
Oh my gosh, team, you've got 2 minutes to buy your raffle tickets. I don't know if you're all aware of this. Let me just remind you what's up for grabs, if I may. One moment. I really should have found the notes for that before I said that's what I was going to do.
Oh, here we go. Prize one, ICO pack with rich coffee roast beans and an Opuscape photography zine and sticker. So this pack is worth over $160. So get in there, fill your boots up. Prize two is a $20 Thunderpants voucher. I can vouch for Thunderpants, best undies out there, plus they do clothing as well. A New Zealand owned and made company. But they also have a rich coffee roast beans and Opuscape photography zine and sticker. And prize three is 2 Rector City home game tickets, plus some more rich coffee. Peeps love their coffee here in Wellington. Plus also Opuscape photography zine and sticker. So, which is a new venture. So which you've probably heard about that. So Open Skate is the work of Decks, Clear the Decks. And it's a photographic documentary following Team New Zealand on their World Cup journey this year. So New Zealand, very proud.
That's the end of our timeout. The head ref gave the 5 seconds to that jam timer.
You haven't lived if you've not seen the haka on roller skates, I've got to say.
I suppose I haven't lived. Not yet. That's okay. There's a lot I want to do. Maybe in my next life, I'll enjoy jamming more. A concept!
Nice tight hard wall, which got Ray Gun, Gaz, and Red walking down the Gallo Lasses down. In the meantime, a Furious George doing what Furious George does. Grabbing lead. Grabbing some air as well, no doubt. There we go.
There's that apex jump.
Says hello to Glitter Spank on the way.
It was a gorgeous apex jump, and we had the perfect view to see that land before contact was made with that blocker, and that made that jump legal and worth those points.
Yeah, sneaky, sneaky.
Apex jumps are a tricky one, not just for the athleticism that is involved, but also to make sure you can clear it, land, and earn those sweet, sweet points. There we had Matthew Steve Dozen out on their initial, and George gave that jam a call.
He popped out the front, popped that jammer star back on, might have been looking for a star pass, could use it for a little bit of an option. Make it look like they were passing.
Could be, yeah. One important thing for those out there who think they'd love to play roller derby as a jammer, just make sure that star is visible when that is not on top of your head. Star's got to be visible for things to count.
Lead is taken by Dump Truck in the white for the Gallo Lasses. Last player to get past the initial blank was Scrape. Defensive work out the top of the track by Richter. Doing what they can to slow the roll.
Good one, Ed.
Because Clear the Decks was sent to the penalty box, but is currently back on track now.
We've had some beautiful pack awareness from Scrappy, number 81, with Richter there. It's important to make sure that you've got someone who can be the bridge between two groups when it seems like your pack is going to start splitting so that everyone can still stay in play. We do 414. Lynn Slayer has taken the star pass, put it over their pivot cap. Folks, that's halftime. I hope no one was waiting to buy their raffle tickets, because it's time.
Well, we might be generous and give you a few more minutes to buy some tickets. We've got some last minutes. Larry's up there. You want to get rid of some of your coins? we'll happily take them off your hands. We give them a good home. Remember, just $2 a ticket or 3 for $5 if you're feeling lucky.
All right, team. Looks like there's 30 seconds left in this intermission, and then we are on to the second half of the second game. Things are heating up on the track only because I'm starting to get a little chilly. I won't lie to you. Did I bring a hot water bottle? Yeah. Did I make it? Nah. I thought, oh, I'm hot. I can barely stand the concept of putting on this long sleeve shirt after the B team game. Ridiculous me. Ridiculous.
We forgot it was Wellington. Got some peeps hanging out in the penalty box already. Is they being naughty? Things are occurring. Oh, is it both the jammers? Oh.
Maybe they're just having a bit of a chat, you know? You don't really get to catch up with the other team very much during the game.
Not in a nice way, no, usually. Yeah. Same.
Seats have covers, it's warm.
All right, jam number 1 of the second half. Underway, everybody is where they need to be. We've got all officials in place. All the skaters doing the things. Penalty called on the Gallilas's jammer. Back block. There are certain parts of the body which you cannot contact.
And despite the name, it doesn't mean that you can't contact other parts of the back, but we are focused on not contacting the spinal region.
That's true. Making it as safe as we can, considering, you know, everyone's got 8 wheels on their feet.
And some of us fly.
There we go, yeah. Just use the one skate at times.
Gallilas has had a nice strong wall during that last jam there, and some good recycling techniques.
And the tactical switch for pivot last jam, so the Kiwi up to pivot, just potentially release lens play. First jam of the night, 085 hot rod. Takes the long way round, grabs lead. T-Rex has made it past the purple wall. Teams managed to go halfway around the track previous jam. Interesting tactic from both teams, deciding to camp out at the top of the pivot line, letting those two jammers get a run up. George takes that inside gap. Whilst Purple Wall still doing their best to shut down Critical Roller. Still currently on an initial pass.
Nice comms coming from the track. We can hear all the way over here. They are a bit closer to us, but even when they're not, you can certainly hear those comms going on. No pack split pack called. And good hustle from the players on the track to get that pack back in order so that everyone can start engaging again.
That's it. If you hear that no pack called, you cannot be playing derby. You've got to have a pack to play derby. Must be in proximity.
So what we've just seen in front of our camera there was the purple jammer for Richter, Furious George. Got a bit of a boot off of the track. However, the blocker who did the booting was also popped off the track by 123 Tino, and that meant that George could return right on the track and keep going.
Heavy duty tool at the top of the pack at previous jams.
We've got our officials taking their official timeout to have a bit of a corridor.
Yeah, have a conflab over that previous jam. We'll see what comes out of that momentarily.
Right, because we're having an official timeout, there's not a lot that we can do during this time, so I want to give you a fun prompt. Have you been thinking about it?
No.
Okay.
The
So-
honest to a fault. How about that? You asked, I answered.
I love it. I love it. Builds trust in teammates, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so Edge.
Yes, venomous.
Aliens are coming, somewhat like Space Jam, okay? But instead of challenging us to basketball, they're going to challenge us to roller derby.
Okie dokie.
Just like in Space Jam, we've got to recruit some teammates.
Now you're anticipating that I've seen Space Jam.
The point is that you've got to come up with a roster, and it can include animated characters.
Oh, am I going to show my age here? Does anyone remember Captain Caveman? I think he would be a brilliant defensive blocker.
Oh my gosh, does this computer have, it obviously has an internet connection. Can I Google Captain Caveman?
Yeah, dial up. We'll go with that, shall we? Yeah, I am that old. Who knows?
Okay, well, Captain Caveman sounds great.
Yeah. Do I get the Roadrunner for a jammer?
Ooh, I want Tinkerbell to be a jammer. Talk about flying. Beautiful suckbacks there from both teams, starting up closer to the pivot line, working their way back to the jam line in anticipation of the jam start.
Just when I thought both jammers were out and free.
That's the end of the jam.
Now Galileo's jammer, Simba Rogers, taking a seat in the penalty box. I believe the signal was forearm.
And Richter's also got a pivot sitting. I did not catch that penalty. Five seconds for everyone to get between the jam start line and the pivot line.
Hot rod shut down on the inside line by little yellow jacket, number 27. So, yeah, no. Tight back for now, but we've got some holes for me.
And yeah, when you're a jammer, it can be a bit tough to know who's pushed you out. So when recycling, always best to be safe rather than sorry and receive a cut penalty there. That's why you might see jammers going a bit out of the way to get behind everyone in the pack.
I wouldn't say it was sneaky, but grabbing lead from out of the penalty box, Simba Rogers. Just a nice sideways stepping on the inside line around the apex, corners 1 and 2, and just grabbed lead jammer status. And now pushing for all the money in the world. shut out now by Princess Di.
We've got a bit of bridging going on so that we don't get into a no pack split pack here. And now we are back in.
Di flipping from offense to defense now. Shut down Hot Rod best they can.
We got a really lovely compliment for Simba on the Twitch stream that I want to read out. Simba doing a great job driving what is essentially a Team New Zealand pack out of play. Indeed, working really hard to push that pack at the front there, forcing bridging until the opportunity presented itself to get out.
And out of the pack first, Richter Jammer Grim, 114.
We've got a no pack call there.
Just before Maggie does it, we come around searching for points, Grim calls the jam.
I have to say, I'm loving the yellow track over the green track we've historically had. I just think it's nice and easy to see. We've still got green down on those 10-foot markers, as well as the pivot line and jam start line.
That's what's different today. We have yellow tape, not green tape.
It's yellow.
There we go.
Righto, we've got RCRD's Ford 20 Furious George out on lead.
Always hunting for the apex jump. Also hunting for points. That last jam was T-Rex, one of the 191, jamming for Galalasses. And here the Richter bench, telling George to call the jam.
Points and call, points and call. We've got a random Potai question through the Twitch. Who does Dunedin's uniforms? Love the different cuts and styles. I'm not entirely sure the answer to this question. I'm not sure if it's... I'll have to have an ask, but I promise that I will ask. I'll write it down.
We've got a few cameos, skaters, slight fish bash, or some homemade or some scrimmage shirts thrown in with the regular league shirts as well to accommodate the cameo skaters helping out Dunedin today. Hot Rod nearly sneaking through on the inside line. Just making sure and just oriented behind.
What looks like a successful star pass for the Dunedin Hello Lasses, but that jam is called off just before they could re-engage with the pack.
Righto, on our lineup for jammers, we've got Dunedin's number 24 still on call, and Victor's 09 Flying Kiwi.
Still on call or Stocky, playing the second game of the night. Yeah, played in the aqua and black for KCBC.
Oh.
Game number 1.
Kapiti to you.
Yeah, spinning a flip from Flying Kiwi to get past the last yellow lass blocker up the top. Grabbing lead. And decides to go through the middle of the pack, finding a gap where they can. Mars just hit straight to get past around corner number 3.
Gorgeous star pass to 107 Mars. I've been informed by folks on the Twitch stream that 107 Mars might be made out of knives. Trying to block against Mars is reportedly very difficult.
Just an official timeout at the moment, just to sort something out at the scoreboard scorekeeping area.
It's very important amongst the million other jobs that the bench staff are doing. It's very important for them to keep an eye on the scoreboard and the scores that are awarded, the points that are awarded as they're awarded. In roller derby, you can only challenge the scoreboard during or immediately after the jam has happened. So if you wait for a few jams to go by, it's too late. Those points are gone.
Okay, it's not a race, but I spy 2 outside referees here taking a sneaky seat. Who will get up first, I wonder? It's a bit slippery on that outside ref lane, as we've seen.
It's a bit tight too over on that start line.
Yeah, not a lot of room to move.
Yep.
They're having a great chin wag in the corner.
Worth mentioning that if you are a player who goes off the track and makes contact with a referee, you are in trouble.
Oh yes, those people who wear the stripes always win no matter what.
Shall not be contacted with. They didn't sign up for this full contact sport. They're referees. They've got a really tight inside line in the middle there, and they stay quite close to the track on the outside as well. So making sure that you're always ceding to those referees, being very respectful, giving them the space they need to keep a close eye on things.
Oh, hello, we've got movement on the outside. Who's up first? Oh, it's a tie.
They hurt us.
No, they didn't. There's no eye contact.
They're ignoring us.
Can you see my fantastic skates that I've got on here? Yeah, that's quite cool. Pretty shiny. What wheels do you roll on? Oh, I couldn't quite tell you. I change them up every time. Conversation too? No. We've got our hands on our hips, you've got to follow us. Now pointing.
Who's pointing?
Making a circle. Wax off.
Right, while we've got the time and I've sent Venomister to check some things out, it's worth noting that shortly the bar will be doing its last call. after this next jam. Last call on the bar. So if you would like to have one last drink during the last 17 minutes of our game, maybe mosey your way on over there. I'll remind you again in about 2 minutes.
What's that? How does that song go? Last call for alcohol. I don't know. I can't sing. I do believe it was George Thorogood and the Destroyers. We'll just go with that.
Did you listen to that on your gramophone or
I did.
back with
I'm
Captain
just making
Cave?
fun because I've got a bad back and I'm looking funny today. That's all. Yes, I am the old lady in the team. Old lady.
We're so
coming
happy
through.
to have you, Edge. I don't want to say we all have bad backs at this stage, but we certainly all use our backs very, very regularly.
And just for you young whippersnapper, yes, I still have a CD, Walkman, Discman somewhere floating around. You know, a CD is what you used to listen to music in back in the day.
And they'd skip. Oh, my Lanta, they'd skip. And the heartbreak. Oh, the heartbreak.
I've just recently gotten rid of some VHS tapes in the last month. That ages me.
I too grew up on VHS, I will say. My younger sister is quite a bit younger than I am, and one day I said, why don't you pick a film? And she went to my bookshelf and she pulled it off and said, where's the disc? So it's not just you.
It's not just me. Yay!
We're all in good company.
Back to the conversation on the sideline, yes? Okay. Great.
Yes, go.
Okay. I don't know if I can do all three voices, but I'll give it a go.
Oh, please do. Please be Dan and Crash and Arsel.
Okay, let's get it going. So,
I reckon they're discussing the best way to make crepes. They've probably learned from medical emergency on the break. I don't know anything about making crepes except that they're supposed to be thin, so probably, I reckon, that Fouled Out is recommending that we add chocolate to it somehow.
can't make them, can consume them. That's my level of, you know, where I'm at with that.
I'm absolutely in awe that we've been serving crepes. I can smell them. They smell delicious. And hats off to the team who's been making them tonight.
Did anyone in the audience, have you tried the crepes? Can you give us, thumbs up, yes, all good.
We didn't even get, we just got
nods.
thumbs way up.
I just sort of walked by them and, you know, just...
Yeah, it smells like a bakery over here.
So good choice by the sounds of it.
Oh, we're getting some feedback from the Twitch streamers. Yes, I think we do have chocolate syrup available. Yes, I'm getting the yes. And someone else has asked for some Nutella. That is also over there. I have seen the Nutella.
I saw a great hack with that actually. You put some hot milk in the container when it's empty, and then you basically got yourself a chocolate milk.
Oh, a hazelnut chocolate milk.
Use up that
Hope you
jar.
like hazelnut.
You know, there's got to be some hacks out there that actually work. So,
Bananas and chocolate. Cheese roll crepes. I was about to say, I am down for crepes to be savory, but I'm a savory person. Yeah, I like a crepe. I like something thin. I don't like a pancake. It's too thick for me.
yeah, just give me all the calories. I'll take all the calories, all the chocolate. Just throw it my way. I will give it a good
Or
home.
just cut out the middleman. I don't need the bread item. Just put the chocolate straight in my face. Thank you. Righto, team. Speaking of chocolate, I'm going to go ahead and say that we're probably doing last call on the bar. No more alcohol being served past this point. And if you're craving some chocolate after I've been daydreaming about chocolate over here for the past 2 minutes, swing on by the bar to grab some.
Yeah, if you're too late to go to the bar, check out the merch. There's a couple of merch stands. There's some Richter City threads and some other little bits and pieces like stickers and patches, you know, for your collection. Plus there's Support Team New Zealand as well. get our Team New Zealand players to the World Cup.
Right, team. Looks like we've got our wonderful New Zealand roller derby streaming working on a slight technical issue, I think.
Here's where we've got a connection problem with the scoreboard.
Once again, so thankful for their work. And if you're listening online, watching the games, please consider donating so we can continue to stream our games to you in your homes. Right. Now, for those of us who are not sitting in the bleachers, Edge and I cannot quite see the whiteboard. It looks like we've gone back to whiteboard times to keep that score. So,
Game is on, we are back. Okay, yes, a little bit of lo-fi scorekeeping, but you know what? It keeps the game rolling. The timeout did not affect Simba for 1 iota. Grabbing lead.
back with a passion.
Yeah, a bit of jammer on jamming. Grim decided to do a little bit of defensive blocking whilst still trying to work their way through a solid wall of defense from the Gallo Lasses. Back in the day when the electronic scoreboard was not a thing, there was a score, like a rink skater who would go around showing the score in-house.
Can we please bring back rink skaters? I'll put my hand up. I'll do it. That sounds so fun.
Hustling at the top of the pack between Little Yellowjack and Gaz, fighting for position.
We've got some strong walls out there, folks.
They head out and run back on the 109 Sting on Singlet.
Simba's pushing hard out the front, and we've got some bridging happening from Richter as they got the call that the pack is officially back.
Yeah, tight green wall, which had to drop a bridge to keep Simba in play as long as possible.
And some beautiful defense from the Dunedin Gallo Lasses, holding back the Richter jammer there on that apex for quite a while. And looks like the score is 186 to 51, the updated score.
I'm so happy to have someone who can see, because my eyes are shot. So, nice big numbers, and we will let you know in-house what the score is.
Still got my contacts in.
And when we can see them. Okay, jamming, we be having Hot Rod in the purple, up the top of the track. And the white taking with Dino, is number 77. Matt Eastie does it. Spinning, turning, on the toe stops. Grab lead.
Really working Richter to do their bridging so that they don't get out of play and just pushing hard, eh?
Unfortunately for their efforts, Dino is taking a seat in the penalty box. And off to say hello will be Hot Rod. So, Yeasty, the lone jammer on track currently, looking for all the buddies. Oh, and because Hot Rod's sitting in the box, there goes her mate, Scrappy. So Scrappy and Hot Rod. It's a twofer.
Got a lot of twisting happening out here.
Rotational work to keep yourself in play and upright as much as possible. So look, the track doesn't look that wide, but when you've got to move sideways on it. Oh, hello. Hot Rod managed to jump over the feet of Open Buffet and then took themselves out and down. Reporting back to the penalty box. No doubt we'll be discussing that in the car on the way home.
Well done, everyone. I think this, what we just caught on camera, is my favorite part of roller derby, which is once the whistle has gone, just flipping around and pure joy.
That the jam is over and high fives all round.
High fives all around, giving high fives to your teammates, giving compliments to each other, supporting each other, not just on your team as well. My favorite part of roller derby is that we do that with the other team as well, because we're all here to have fun and do a good job. Both packs starting back pretty close to that jam line.
Yeah, power jam to the Gallo Lasses.
Lead has been awarded.
Some nice footwork shuffle on the outside line to try and outwit the purple pack, which was successful because Gallows had lead.
No pack called, so Gallo Lasses moved up just a touch. And once they get that call, that pack is all again, they can begin to do some contact, so can the purple jammer.
T-Rex was on the outside, then scoots to the inside, calls the jam.
An absolute classic, two jammers racing to get round the track, back to the packs.
I see a flicker in the corner. Is the scoreboard back and operating?
Maybe. We're being told something by our NSOs, but I can't make it out.
Anticipation.
Righto, we've got number 9 Dump Truck up against 420 Furious George. Got a bit of a fast pack running here.
Last block of the beat was Scrappy. He's been joined by Tito at the top of the pack. George hunting for that apex jump. Tucks under the arms of the teammates.
We've got an update on the score, currently 186 to 67.
Scoreboard is true and correct.
That update courtesy of Sir Clicks-a-Lot, who does some gorgeous action photography for us here. Can be amazing to see us all in play, and can be a nice reminder that some of us, me, can have pretty intense faces when we're playing roller derby that get captured on camera. But it's all in good fun.
Yeah, we've got 3 photographers here today. We've got Paolo Hicks, Sir Clicks-a-Lot, roller derby photography, and Also, one of the Richter players who's currently playing the second game was actually taking photos of the first game.
Photos all round. In our next lineup, we've got 09 Flying Kiwi going up against 24, still on call. It's always nice to hear laughs coming from the track and the bench, eh? Oh, I would just like to note to folks on our Twitch that it does look like we are connecting to the chat. So if you can hear me, I can't see your updated messages just now. But hopefully we'll be reconnecting shortly. Thanks for your patience.
Interesting to see both teams have decided to start on the pivot line, top of the track.
Or have they?
Oh, let's find out.
End of timeout has been called. Have about 30 seconds to line up. Just kidding, 5. Let's go.
Both teams faking each other out to roll back on the jam line at the start, with both jammers coming out. Quick as you like.
Lightning fast, and another little race around the track for the jammers.
Great job by 2-4 in the whites, still on call to get through quickly, just behind Flying Kiwi to force Kiwi to pull the jam off.
Adds a little bit of pressure when you're running up against that pack again to have another jammer just behind you.
This time we have Rim playing defense up against Critical Roller.
Grim making it past that pack and then zipping past their own pack for lead jammer.
Great to see some different skating styles in this game. Obviously got the skaters who like to jump, those who like to use their toe stops, and then those who just like a quick, sharp change of direction.
Oh, absolutely. The use of a hockey stop in roller derby is such a golden skill to be able to do those quick stops, direction changes. They're really important, especially if you're trying to catch the jammer, if you are the jammer trying to get through, or if you're a blocker who's got some really persistent offense being played on you. You really want to avoid them so you can stay on that jammer.
Successful star pass from Dunedin. Jammer passing the star to their pivots to take over. There's a heavy defensive move from Richter to slow the Dunedin jammer down, forcing them to pass the star.
Lovely. I think I'll take this chance to let the crowd know about some of our next upcoming events. On the 21st of May, RCRD is hosting a quiz night at Spates in Petone please come and check it out. I promise the quiz is not roller derby themed. It is a general quiz night out at Spates Ale House.
I love a good quiz.
It's a great quiz. It's a great time. Delicious kai, delicious drinks. Come and join us. Support your one of your local roller derby leagues.
I'm totally not competitive when it comes to a good quiz night. I bring the snacks. I bring the money to buy all the answers because I want to win.
Edge giving away our secrets. You can buy answers
Yes.
to the questions at the quiz night.
We
So
will always take your money.
look, if you're there to have fun, we appreciate it. But if you're also there to buy some answers and win the whole quiz, we appreciate that too.
I'm not averse to that.
So that's 21st May, Petone Spates Ale House. And we're off.
I had a moratorium put on buying answers at the last quiz I went to. You have too much money. I was saving up on purpose. Right, Hot Rod, grab some leads. For Richter. I've got a little Mexican stand-up at the back here from Sting up against Simba.
Yep, bit of a recycle happening there.
Yeah.
Nice and patient.
All to do with that superior position on track. I let you off and I stay upright and inbounds.
Looks
and
like
play.
patience paid off here.
Yeah, you've got to come in behind me.
Yep.
Crowd favourite Gaz taking a seat at the penalty box. I see that. Don't know what it was for.
Didn't quite catch that one either, no.
They'll be out in 30 seconds. Both jammers liking the look of that inside line, but it has been shut down. No go. You have to find another way through.
Really tricky in this position too.
Jamming up first is Simba. Hot Rod still stuck behind the wall of Dunedin. Working well. Foxy, Little Yellow Jacket and Princess Di. Those critical roles holding the inside line.
A well-executed couple of walls there, especially hard when you've got both jammers stuck behind two walls that are just really digging in their brakes. Can be really hard to make sure that one jammer gets through and the other one does not.
That is not right. On the scoreboard, we have all the twos, 2-2-2, for Richter City up against Dunedin Derby with 81 on the board. And the clock has just stopped at 4 minutes and 46 seconds to go.
My goodness,
I
time
cleaned
has
my glasses, can you
flown.
tell? I can see.
Amazing that you can see through all of the stripes in the middle of the rink there. Their parents must be glass makers.
Well, they don't make good windows, but they are good doors. I don't think we have any yarn in the middle. I can't do 7 voices.
Oh, come on, Shirley, you've already
Two to
got
push.
3 down.
Two to push. Place it.
I reckon they're trying to agree on what they're going to name themselves for the quiz night for their team and how many answers they're willing to buy. I reckon they're having a harsh discussion about that. Yeah, you've got to be strict with yourselves and your budget, eh?
Well, that's it. Well, as we know, a group of zebras is called a dazzle of zebras.
Yeah, as we all certainly know. Everyone knows that.
That's my one fact for the night.
Oh, I love it.
It could be true, it could be false.
Meanwhile, I just came with history.
Okie dokie, it be Furious George on the line up against Maggie's He Doesn't. Princess Di doing their best to form a hole for Houston to get through. George is moving that Dunedin line from side to side, trying to find a hole and a gap to get their skates through. She'll jump it if she has to, as we all know.
Nice tough wall there made by RCRD, and that lended itself for Matt Easty to hand off that star cap for a star pass.
Miles taking over jamming duties for Dunedin.
Jam called by Furious George.
Yep, had enough of that one. Going to take a seat. Send out the next, I was going to say, volunteers. I don't know, the bench tells them what to do.
Yeah, you get voluntold.
So, you good? Good. Get out there. Where you go. Have some fun.
Mm-hmm.
Do some things.
The two nines up against each other once again, Dump Truck and Flying Kiwi.
Yeah, both packs also decided to start at the pivot line, giving both jammers a run-up. He found the gap first, grabs lead jammer status. Currently forcing their way back through the pack.
And a tight pack it is between both packs working there together. Both groups, rather. There's a strong wall there at the front, but Dump Truck has made it out of the pack.
Last now.
But Kiwi made a quick call to end that jam before too many points could be awarded, I believe.
Yeah, last gasp, blocking effort from Little Ladder Jacket, which I believe Kiwi would have made it. She had one wheel out of bounds, just the one out of 7.
That's all it takes.
That's
Yeah.
It looked like one wheel out of 7 to me. We have photographic evidence. We've got a photographer sitting
Or
right
do
next to
we?
us. One out of, oh yeah,
Oh, you said 1 out of 7.
sure.
1 out of 8.
I'm tired, can you tell?
We've played a game.
I need food. I need food. But all the food has been eaten, all the lovely food.
We're waiting for our donut donations. Don't forget.
Mad hustle at the top. Oh, the track. The shirt say mighty pain, but the skater is actually T-Rex.
Well done, T-Rex.
Great band, great songs, great skater. Oh, just been pinged by an outside pack referee.
And
Pack rolling backwards.
I might be incorrect, but I believe we did just have two jammers have a little swap in the bin there.
Was a spinneroonie from Hot Roll. Get past Princess Di, but caught on the hip by number 27. Rest coming behind.
Yep.
That's a superior position I keep talking about.
We've said it before, and I'll say it again, some great recycling instincts here, because it's really what it comes down to is just being ready to sort of hit that line, push that player out, and run it back.
Bodies contorting into all sorts of shapes and designs. On purpose or by mistake. Sometimes you just got to go with the flow. We'll find out tomorrow if you pulled anything, I suppose. Put it back into position.
I was just stretching my legs under the table and thinking, I maybe didn't stretch those knees as much as I should have after our game. Naughty me. Now, folks, if you're sitting in the crowd or you're watching at home and you're thinking that you quite like this whole roller derby thing, let me tell you that there's a few pathways in. We've got our wonderful non-skating officials, so if you think, I really like this, and I really like the stats and such, but I don't think I want to be on skates, We've got our NSO positions. Oh. What?
I know.
What?
Final score, official score, Richter City 241, Dunedin Derby 90. That is end of game, folks.
Team, I was fully sitting here wondering why everyone was getting off the bleachers. I was completely confused. Oh my Lanta. That's it.
Fully absorbed in the game.
I was. I was like, this is going to keep going.
Come on down if you want a high five. Say good day to your favourite skater, favourite official.
Right, well, I'm just going to keep going. If you think that this might be for you, we've always got positions for folks who want to be non-skating officials, positions for folks who might want to learn to be skating officials. It's very fun. And we've got Richter City leads a Learn to Skate and Learn to Derby course starting early next year. So if you think that you'd like to learn to skate and possibly get out on the track with us later, join our Learn to Skate. You can follow us on socials for more information. Thanks again to everyone for coming out tonight to support the Dunedin Derby Gallo Lasses, as well as Richter City Roller Derby. We'd like to give one last thank you to our sponsors, Kapiti, Rich Coffee, Thunderpants, Aiko, and as well as our 10-year sponsor, Garage Project. Thank you also to New Zealand Roller Derby Streaming, New Zealand Streaming Roller Derby. It's such a pleasure to be here, to have these recordings, and to also have the photos from the many photographers who are joining us tonight. Thanks everyone for coming out to support Roller Derby. Hop on your skates and join us in the future.